Well, welcome to episode 7 now of the Prostreet Talk Podcast. Joining me and F today, we've got the one and only Charlie Dixon, who's travelled all the way from Adelaide just to come see us. Not really. He actually went to Albury first to go drop off his car at Fatal Finish Detailing. But, well, welcome to F's Man Cave Garage. We've had some renovations happening, but welcome. Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me, lads. I'm pumped. I've been sort of seeing your stuff over the last few months and, yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, F's been keeping an eye on you. He's fangirling at the moment. He's blushing. I'm keeping the lid on it. I'm trying to control myself here, but no, we're going well. So thanks for coming out again, like Jesse just said. And where did it all start for you? What got you into cars? And obviously, you're a former AFL footballer as well, which we know about that. But you've got some beasts tucked away that a lot of people might not know about.
Yep.
But let's start from day dot, first car, and what got you into it. Yeah, like Carna, were you Carna raised into it? You know, because obviously you're coming from Queensland, you haven't been in Adelaide your whole life as well. Maybe people wouldn't know that as well. Like even myself, I didn't realise originally you were a Queenslander. Yeah. So, yeah, like how did it start? Was it from day dot you were a car person, or, you know, was it something that lit that spark for you?
Yeah, well, my dad, but I basically sort of just used to tell the stories about his cars and growing up and what he used to do and like race his cars like in country New South Wales. That's where they're from, like near West Wyalong, and then I'm originally from Cairns. So but yeah, basically that was it. I mean, that sort of just got me going, and I always just paid attention to what new cars were coming out and stuff. I was very much a Holden guy growing up, and then it sort of, once I sort of moved away. My first car was a VT wagon, Commodore wagon, which was an ex sort of company car of Dad's. And so I got that, put a set of wheels on it. Dad gave it a sort of fresh lick of paint. And
so spray painted by trade?
No, that was just sort of, we sent it out to a body shop and
shits and gigs.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, no, I loved the thing and had that for a few years, and then I sort of spent a year in Brisbane and then got picked up by the Gold Coast Suns. And then first contract, I bought myself a FG XR6, not a turbo. I couldn't have that because I was on a P's. I was filthy.
So there was actually P-plate restrictions up in Queensland?
Yeah, very much. So it was like same sort of thing, red peas, green peas, and had to have them for like 2 or 3 years before you get on your opens or something. I can't even remember, but
so pretty similar to Victoria. You guys just get your licences a bit earlier then?
I think so, yeah.
Like I'm even young myself. I'm 21. I'm technically on my green pea still, yeah. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, so here, same thing, restrictions, all that. Yeah. So you would have had to cop that on the chin too, yeah? So
yeah, exactly. I said to my dad once, I was like looking at cars. I was looking at second-hand XR6 like BF turbos, and I said, do you reckon if I buy an XR6 turbo, I can just put it in your name? And he's like, get fucked.
Just pull the badges off.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll just pull the badges off. He's like, absolutely not. I said, you'll go to jail. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So yeah.
What's that mean? Right to jail?
Yeah, right to jail. Basically just got the FG, first brand new car, 6-speed manual. I made sure it had, like, I ordered it. So like luxury pack, and then I put an LSD, and made sure it had LSD in it, and basically destroyed that car.
Nice. And then from there, so you had that the whole time you were at?
No, well, so I had that for a while. I had that for 2 years, did normal P-plate thing, lowered it, wheels, exhaust, and no like performance mods apart from like K&N air filter and like not extractors, just catbacks. So it was just loud. And it wasn't that loud. I thought it was tasteful, but and then painted the tail lights. So back when I was a P-plater, that was a massive thing.
You didn't tint them, did you?
No, well, I actually got them painted in a similar colour to the because it was grey, the Ego. So similar colour. So I had the front light covers and then the rear tail lights were painted, and it actually, I thought it looked pretty good.
I was about to say it would have looked shit out.
It looked shit out. It probably did. Like my parents and all that sort of stuff, they had no, like, why the hell are you painting them? That's just stupid. They're reflectors. And I'm like, it looks sick. Shut up, looks sick.
So your car taste in modifications has changed quite a bit since
then?
Yeah,
quite a bit. I wish it was still, I wish that was all I used to do to cars, but no, and then from there I was like, no, I'll just get a Commodore Omega. That'll do. I'll just get that. And I'll get rid of the Ute and I'll just drive this around for a bit. And then I was like, and then my dad was building, he used to have an XC panel van growing up, lime green, 351, 4-speed. like GXL or whatever it was, and he's like, I'm going to build one to the spec that I had when I was 21. And so then he bought a few donor cars. He bought an old panel van down from Victoria somewhere here, and then he bought another like GXL Falcon, and I picked it up from like country New South Wales where it was and drove it back to the Gold Coast, and I had that sort of cruising around, and I got it lowered and put some exhaust tips on it because it just looked sort of povo pack, and I got it lowered and made it nice.
You didn't tint those fucking...
No, I didn't touch it. Dad wouldn't let me do anything else other than that. But it had its extractors, big cam and stuff in it, and it was auto, T-bar auto. And it was just a cool cruiser. And
so that was all right to drive on your P plates?
I was just got off my P plates.
Okay,
yeah. I think. Yeah, potentially. And so I was driving that to training at the Gold Coast, and I thought it was pretty cool driving.
How long were you there at the Suns for?
So I signed with them at the end of 2008, and I left in 2015. So
was it 69 games off the top of my head?
Yes, something like that.
And 94 goals.
Something like that, I think. Yeah, you know better than me by the sounds of it. But yeah, so I was about 7 years, I reckon, from start to finish. So like because we're brand new in the Gold Coast, and it went from we went like under 18s, then VFL, then AFL. So and that sort of took a few years. So I've been up there for 7 years, and then moved down to Port Adelaide and that. But,
so did you have the coolest car in the car park?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. And then. But then while I had that, I sort of sold the Omega, and I bought a VSS Ute, and that was sort of like my first V8 sort of thing that I bought, and paid 30 grand for it. And 2011 Series 2, and
Were you at the time?
no, second-hand. I bought a second-hand one down here in Vic, actually. I think it had 20,000 Ks on it. And then I went through the sort of stage, saw Kent at High Talk Performance, the boys up there, and so I went like normal thing, like extractors, intake, like OTR. No, I had an OTR, only had straight pipes on the rear, on like just muffler delete basically, and then I went exhaust, then I went cam, I went clutch, fuel system, and then I decided to go Pro Charger. I liked a couple of mates had Pro Chargers, and then.
So what power figures were we talking? What was that making?
It made, what did it make? 470 rear wheel kilowatt. Yep. So unopened engine, and then because it was a.
I still running your standard cam, or you had?
I put a cam valve, like all the sort of stuff
like
you do.
A wine blank. I didn't realise if you said the cams.
And so it made like I think 430 or something like that. Anyway, and I loved it. It was it was awesome. And then I had a deal through Fiat, because Fiat were a sponsor of the Gold Coast. So I just had the Ute parked up, and then I'd be driving the Fiat Fremont around.
Are they those little?
No, not the little ones. No, because
it was like Mr. Bean coming.
Yeah, I know. Like I wanted one of them. I said, "Give me one of them," and they're like, "No," like the bath things. And no. So and I had that for a long time, and for probably for the longest period had that for 2-3 years or something like that. And we used to go out and they used to do like sort of happy laps, they called them back then.
Yep, just take it to a track.
Take it to Willowbank.
Yeah, I was about to say Willowbank.
Right.
And you do like start at 6:30 and you just go out and like basically you just cruise around Willowbank until you get to a straight, so you line someone up and you're racing.
Oh, so it's roll racing?
Basically roll racing before roll racing.
Yeah.
So like
hang on, so did Fiat let you do this, or were you doing this on your own accord?
No, I wasn't into a Fiat.
Oh, just wanted to confirm that.
No, absolutely not.
Imagine you just see a Fiat Fremont and a bath just racing down Queensland Raceway.
Oh, far out. But no, I was in the Ute, in the VE, and so I had I think it was the DC1S or whatever it was, so it wasn't like an F1A sort of Pro Charger, it was just sort of like this small or middle one, I guess.
Did they used to sound funny, like a concrete truck or something still? You hear Pro Chargers sometimes.
It just had that sort of thing, and then like if you have like their big blow-off valve, it would just be like constantly, and that was like, I said, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, you don't want that, because that's just like every time you're off the accelerator, it's a huge sort of thing, and it's so
like Mr. Cube.
yeah. So, but I loved it. I just loved like a supercharger, instant sort of power and stuff like that, and then when you go and do those happy laps and you sort of flog around and race a few Fords and stuff, we'll race anyone, you know. And
well, it's funny how the tables turn saying, oh, you love that instant supercharged power, and now you're going to turbo LS, which we'll touch on.
Well, that's it.
To do roll racing? Or
Roll racing before roll racing, but it was funny because we'd go out and do that, and probably 90% of the field would just want to go and line each other up and race down the straight. Then you'd have like maybe 5 or 6 cars who were doing actually like laps. Like doing laps, and they're
like
weaving
laps,
weaving in between people, and it's like, what are these idiots doing? That's not what this is about, you know. But I used to do that, and that was about it. Never went down the drag strip. I never sort of like even thought about it, and I'm like, wait, because now I'm like fully immersed in it, and that's all I want to do. And and then after that, I sold that before, maybe a year before I left, and then I sort of got itchy feet again, and then halfway through 2015, I bought another CV8 Monaro off Kent from High Torque Performance.
So were you in Adelaide at this stage?
No, I was still on the Gold Coast, still on the Gold Coast, and it was a house of colour teal. It had a 416 cube stroker in it with the Harrop Hurricane throttle body on it with a turbo 400. It was a 2002 with 3-piece Simmons on it, and big Harrop brakes, like all the really good shit on it. It was like, ran like 11.1 with a 20-inch.
Well, with the Simmons on it and all that.
With the Simmons on it. So it was a fast car. And I fell in love with it, and I was like, yeah, all right, I bought it. And I bought it for 30 grand.
I was about to say, are you comfortable sitting in a Monaro, like being the size you are?
I am. I like, not in mine at the moment with the roll cage and then all this. Like, I literally have to take all the cushions out of my seat, and so then I sit down like this, because otherwise my head's like up against the. So I've got to put a Kirky in it, and so I'm actually sitting on the ground and make it sort of a lot more comfortable, hopefully.
Yeah.
But so I bought that, and which was just pure impulse, and all I did was like cruise around, because then when I sort of said I wanted to trade from Gold Coast, they took the Fiat off me, and I was driving around in
the Monaro,
this teal Monaro with chrome wheels. And
just when you don't want to attract attention to yourself.
I know. But hey, I loved it. I was cruising around, had aircon, had everything, and then I'd get in the driveway and then have a few boys over for a barbecue, and I'd do a burn out in the driveway. And then I did one. What did I do? I did one of those sort of roll racing things in it, and blew up the diff in it somehow. I don't know how, but anyway, did that. So
it happens.
It happens. And
So did you take that car over to Adelaide? No,
I went back home before I went down to Adelaide, because I had to move out of my place on the Gold Coast, and I sent the car up to Adelaide, to Cairns, and I just left it, and I was up there, and I spent sort of probably 2-3 weeks up in Cairns, so I was cruising around there, and then ended up just leaving it up there and then going down to Adelaide for a while, and then just. My dad was like driving around, and like he was because I was trying to sell it, and so I had people like going up there and looking at it, and he was taking it out, and he was loving it. Like, he'd never sort of experienced power like that.
So off topic, kind of like, what was the time period that you actually had to enjoy that car when you were back at Adelaide? Like,
I didn't even take the car to Adelaide.
Yeah, so like you literally had 2-3 weeks up at Cairns until you got picked up, and then that's it. You had to go straight over there, and then that's it.
That was it. And then I sold the car. Some bloke from Mount Isa bought it.
Yeah.
And then this is a funny story. Like, some bloke in Mount Isa bought it, and I think I sold it to him for maybe 32 or 33 or something like that. And so he took it to Mount Isa, and then a guy randomly in Adelaide bought it, and so it's been on my channel. Come in and did like a series on it.
How early was this?
This is only like last year.
Yeah.
So he came around and
didn't say that one.
Yeah, and he bought it, and then I was like, because I saw it. Someone did a post about it. I said, that's my old car. And I was like, who has this? Can I please get in contact with them? And so then we ended up bringing it on the channel, and did a big story on it and stuff like that. So the house of colour teal, it like changes in the sun. It's beautiful.
Did it still look clean?
Oh yeah, still clean.
Yeah,
absolutely. Looked like it probably, only thing that needs done is probably the interior. And I always said, like, that car as fast as it is with the Turbo 400, it would be a cool car if it was manual. It'd be a driver's car. It'd be a nice driver's car, and if I was ever to have that car again, I'd put a TR6060 in it and just.
Would you buy it back? Did you offer the bloke anything?
Nah. He said he's never going to sell it, but for someone like that, it's probably he reckons he's going to give it to his son, so which is cool, and he wants to put a manual back in it too. So, but yeah, that was a very cool car.
So you're in Adelaide now.
Yep.
And what come next?
A 2016 Discovery. HSC.
Land Rover?
Land Rover Discovery.
Land Rover Discovery?
In 2016 I bought that. And it was the best car I ever owned. I loved it. Put some 24s on it.
You didn't, did you?
No.
That is weird, man.
22s. It was white with 22s and still had big chunky tyres on it.
And, I could never picture you for that sort of.
It was white, had tan interior. It was a beautiful car. It was the best car I ever drove. So smooth and I had that for just a year but I picked the HX up in that car. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to buy anything. I can't be bothered like fucking around with these cars anymore.
So 2016 was when you bought the HX? Or
no, well, I picked it up off my uncle. So because it's my grandfather's old farm ute.
Okay, gotcha. So now we're getting to the story of that.
Yeah, so the HX was before the channel, I even started a YouTube channel, and I picked up, so I went down and, because my dad just finished his panel van, and I loved it, and a bloke, Adam Pay in Parks, New South Wales, Pay Restorations, he did it. And I was like, well, would you be keen to do something if I bring it? And he's like, yeah, I'd be keen, but I won't be able to get to it for another 12 months or something like that. So I was like, yeah, sweet. And I just rang my uncle and I said, you got any of Tom's, who was my grandfather, utes laying around? And said, the next door neighbour's got one. It's a HX. And I was like, what are your chances of getting it back off him? And he goes, yeah, I'll get it. And got it. And I'll send you guys some photos of like what it looked like when we picked it up.
I was about to ask you, pretty bad?
Yeah. So it had been like a hole in the roof from like spotlighting. It had an A-frame on the front of it. So like what they used to do with the...
Like to dodge the cows or something?
No, they'd put it on the back of the tractor and tow it out to the paddocks. And like, so when they're ripping around in the, on the tractor, say like either sowing or putting the crops in, they'd have a ute to get out and go and get. So it'd just be dragged behind a tractor sort of thing,
right? So
out to the paddock, and then they'd do that. But yeah, my grandfather used to drive around, chase sheep in fallow paddocks and stuff like that. You know?
So it's pretty special.
It is. It is, and you lose track of that sort of stuff when you're sort of immersed in like a 9-year build, and like about what the actual the actual ute means to you, or what it was to start with, you know. So it went from I had a number of different engine combos that I was going to run with, and so I bought an LSA. I wasn't sure. I think I was going to go manual as well. So I was like, all right, I'll do like one of those resto rod. What do you call it? The
resto mod.
A resto mod, but no, more like those slalom cars that they do. You know, the Americas where they
like when they cut the front and they
make it low and then it's
like
manual,
full tube chassis,
sort of thing.
Like a rat rod. Is that rat rod?
No, like as in like a slalom. So like they you can put them around like the slalom course or something like that. Like basically like a track
Pro
car.
Touring.
Yeah. So something I was like going to do that, but I was going to make it look sort of standard still. And I was like, so I bought an LSA. This is when they were bringing in the W1s and they started making them. So
LSA motors at the time were probably still about 12 grand brand new.
10 grand.
Oh my God.
10 grand.
What an investment.
The things I would do just to have an LSA for that price.
I'd be a millionaire.
So
I had the choice of buying an LSA or my first car, and I'm an idiot and bought my first car.
But this is funny, like, because I was speaking to, this is when they were building the W1s, and then what they would do is they would assemble the GDSRs with the, I might be wrong about this, but this is what I was told. I've got to make sure, because the internet will find out.
Well, I probably can correct you, so I'll let you go first. Yeah.
So what I was told is that they'd put together the W1s, they'd put them together as GDSRs, and then they'd pull the engine out and then put the LS9s in.
Yeah, yes.
They'd get assembled on the line and then they'd go to somewhere else.
They actually got assembled in Adelaide.
Yep.
Come over here.
Yep.
They look like Amigas. The only way you knew that they were a W1 was from the dash. And the reason why I know this was I work on the wharf and I actually had to move them around. So I walked up to this Amiga, started the car, I'm like, hang on a minute.
That's wrong.
That doesn't sound right. Then I realised the dash. GSR W1. So then they got complete, I'm pretty sure, down here in Clayton.
Yep.
Sure, there'll be someone else that would like to correct us, but I physically drove them that looked like that.
Was there like some sort of HSV in Port Melbourne as well? Or?
Nah, Fisherman's Bend. I think that was long gone by then.
They've got an office there still, but it's not like...
Nah, that's gone. That's completely gone. It was more Clayton because that's where they do all the conversions now for the F-trucks and all
F-trucks
that.
and Rams and all that sort of stuff as well, right?
Which you're driving at the moment,
I've got an F-truck at the moment, yes. Thanks to Mount Barker Ford, but and I was speaking to them and they're like, yep, we pulled them out of the GDSRs and then they go turn it into, and I was like, that just sounds like the worst process ever, but hey, whatever, I'll buy one. $10.99 is what I paid for it. And so then shipped that over to Parks, New South Wales, and then we went on the process of putting the LSA in, and I said, I need it under the bonnet. I said, I don't want anything out of the bonnet. I don't want a cow. I don't want anything. I want it under the bonnet. And because the LSA is obviously high, I was looking at getting like the Cadillac blower hat, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So I was looking all over to do that. And he's like, we might be able to get it low and we might have to go dry sump. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, and then we went to, because it's got a all new chassis. So McDonald's brothers did some of the work on the chassis. Ron Harrop did the diff in it. And yeah, so basically it is a brand new car. So like the chassis that we got is not the original chassis. It's all brand new.
Yeah. And so at this stage, were you modifying the chassis to keep the LSA under the bonnet? Like we were talking about modified K-frame as well, obviously.
Yeah, so it was all modified, but like we got to halfway through the point and then I changed my mind. Yep. So changed my mind on the...
Pull out the 8, put in a 6?
Not quite. I was like, I can't... It's impossible to make these things look bloody good, like these LSAs, unless you're going to put a Harrop blower on it or something like that. And I was like, no, let's get rid of that. And I sold that for 14 grand or something like that, I think. And then I was like, let's just, and I was talking to Frank from Danny Engine, and I said, can you just build me like a big cube LS? Because I just did drag challenge with Frank in 2018 when he won it in Fair XW. And he goes, yeah, we can do that. We'll do this. And then he gave me a list and a fuel tech and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, sweet, 50 grand. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good. And then I went to Holden Nationals in the Monaro. And then there was a couple of RBs there. And I was like, you know what? Everyone puts bloody LSs in these things.
Was that 2019?
I reckon it would have been, yeah.
I remember seeing you there.
Yeah, and I was like, I reckon...
I'd be too young to remember.
Brendan Sherry took out the street class, I'm pretty sure. Is that
I cannot even remember that, but that was when the Monaro was manual.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
I've seen the RB and
I've seen a few RBs and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And like, because it had the Holden and the original single cam Holden like rocket cover on it. And I was like, you know what, that white and like that white on top. I said, that looked pretty cool. And I was like, all right, scrap that. We're going RB, picked up an RB for $300.
So how far ahead was his build with Frank? Like, had he already started the motor?
No, hadn't started that.
It was just in talks still.
I had the quote and I was about to sort of get it going. And
then you got the RB quote.
Yeah, pretty much. But I was going to do the same thing as like what the Monaro had, and with the Hurricane Harrop throttle body, because I just love that. It's just something that looks unreal. So I was going to do that with a 440 or a 454 or something like that, something big.
Yeah.
But then it sort of changed, and my builder Adam, who sort of built the car, he's like, I reckon you need a V8. He was trying to get me to put a big block in it. And then my uncle, who gave me the car, he's like, you can't put a bloody 6 in that. You need a 253 in that. That's what it needs.
Is that how it actually went? I'm pretty sure there would have been a bit of Japanese slang in there as well, or no?
Probably. But yeah, so it was, and then so I was basically full steam ahead. I said, do you need me to find you like a sort of mock engine for a VL, like a RB30? And he goes, no, mate's got one. I can bring it here. And I said, I'm going to use a Power Glide. So he found all that, and then he just sort of started mocking it all up from there. And we were going sort of just a normal wet sump, and so I got all that stuff, and then now we've gone dry sump sort of thing, and then I started getting the block ready and sent it to the machine shop, and then by the time they got around to it, it was like a few months later, and they're like, yeah, oh, send me a bill. It was like, not a bill, sorry, a quote, and they were looking at around 12 grand for just machining alone.
And that's just like deck, clean,
yeah,
nothing.
clean.
Yeah.
That was nothing to do with the head
Not
or anything.
boring or anything,
No, it was just like standard sort of thing, and I already bought the pistons and rods and stuff like that. And so like they had it all there ready to go, and a standard crank, and I was like, oh, I want to push like 1,000 horsepower with this thing. It'd be pretty cool. Look standard and just, have 1,000 horsepower and on the column. And they're like, yeah, no, that'd be 12 grand. And I was like, so I ring up Bullet. I'm like, how much is one of those Bullet RB30 blocks? And he goes, he's like, oh, we can get you one for, around 12 grand.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's the decision.
I was like, I'll have one of them, please.
So is that, because I know there's a couple of different billet blocks, is that the one that's got the water galleries through it and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's a wet deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
can be driven on the street?
Can be driven on the street, yeah.
Dry sump still?
Dry, we've gone dry sump because of like the cost of this build, and like, of course, like, there's pros and cons of having like going billet block or a cast iron block and stuff like that as well. But like, we had a front hump sump, and then it just wouldn't have held enough oil for like what I'd be comfortable with, like driving this thing around. So I was like, let's just put a dry sump in it, and then it made him like, oh, it'll be easy to fit.
Yeah.
The clearance on the sort of cross member and stuff like that, which was wrong.
But you would have never had an issue anyway with how high it would have sat,
no,
correct?
Absolutely not.
Yep.
No, well, that's it. It was just sort of because it was a front hump sump, like there was just a generic one we bought, like an RB to like sort of
just dry
front hump.
Yeah.
And it was like minimum sort of literage or whatever you call it. So we're like, oh, let's go dry sump. And the dry sump was like, so it's that thick because you got to about that thick. And then where all the hoses, the mechanical fuel, mechanical oil pump and stuff, where all that goes, it ended up not fitting because that was sort of too close to the cross member, too close to the rack.
Yeah.
So we had to, and then with engineering in Adelaide, so we were trying to get it all engineered through, like, because my guy's in New South Wales, he was getting a New South Wales engineer to go through it, and he goes, yep, that's fine. Go over to SA. And the bloke comes in and he goes, no, that's wrong. So we cutting up this freshly painted, like chassis, like everything's beautiful. And he's like, no, you're going to have to weld on that. You have to weld. He was like, and we'll put billet arms on this thing, and it's like, that just, it seems like it's taking the piss, So I was just like, I was getting real pissed off, and I was like, so we had to do it. So that's why I had to take it back over to Parks New South Wales only a couple of months ago to get it all touched up and finished, and so it all looks nice again. But
this is a problem we've got in this country with different states.
Got different engineers
and the different engineering. It's a real pain in the arse.
Well, like the thing is like this thing had. Like this thing's got a brand new chassis, it's got brand new suspension, upper and lower control arms, rack and pinion steering, Willwood brakes on it, like big brakes.
And then you go cut it up.
And then, but like it's well and truly better than what it was, but when it rolled off the showroom floor. And it's got a billet block in it. So I'm sure it's lighter than what that cast iron 202 that was.
What's actual billet block weigh?
40 kilo.
Yeah.
So comes out of a 100 kilo block.
Yeah.
And they sort of machine it down to 40 kilos.
Still cast head?
Still cast head, polished and ported.
Cam?
Welded up. I think we did that.
Yeah,
it's single cam.
They all have to get welded up.
Yeah.
So is there a reason, do you know much about the twin cam, single cam?
Nah. All I wanted was the Holden Rock cover.
Yeah,
like, that's all I wanted, because it ties in and it looks like it's sort of supposed to be in there. Well, sort of, if you look at it. But
plenum would have been the Plasma Man one.
Yep, we've got a Plasma Man plenum.
That bolts up to straight to the block.
Yep.
Turbo,
we've got a Garrett G Series 42, was brand new when I bought it.
1450?
I couldn't tell you, it was that long ago, and like when I knew it, it was brand new. It was like the new G Series 42.
On the bottle?
It will be.
Yeah.
It's got CO2 hooked up, but I haven't started yet, and
NOS as well, or just CO2?
we will be running We'll be running both.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I'll say it's a 1450 then.
What's that?
Oh, turbo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they're really laggy on.
Yeah. So
and it's a 3.2 litre. We've got
3.2 litre. Yeah. So which I didn't realise that I had a 3.2 crank in it because I had because when I already bought the rods and pistons, I'm like, I sort of said we'll use that, and then we machined the engine block. And then when we put it together, the piston stuck out of the block by like that much. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I'm like, oh, can we swap the crank over, one of your cranks for just a standard one? Like, oh, we don't do standard ones.
So they're all 3.2s.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I was like, right, give me a set of your rods and pistons to match.
So what are they? They run Nidos?
Oh, it's their own.
Yeah.
Their own thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was that long ago. Like then, sort of 9 years. But like, yeah, it's bullets, own pistons and own rods in that block at the moment. So.
6-boost manifold, assume?
Yes, 6 boost. Yep.
Pro mod manifold or like the standard one?
Don't know.
Does the turbo sit close to the headlight? Or
no, it's a standard one. Standard one. So yeah, it's up high next to the sort of
like mid-high mount sort of
yeah,
stuff.
mid-high mount.
All V-banded nicely and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's all.
And it's still got the power glide behind it.
Still got the power glide.
So does it operate through the column?
Operate through the column. Yep. So
how's that going to go?
I don't know.
It's not like you've just bolted a B&M ratchet.
No, so like only thing is like I should have got. I don't think it's a reverse pattern. Like this is the thing. Like I had all this stuff built ages ago and sitting there waiting. So another funny. So we'll get on the Monaro in a bit. But yeah, I was like, so it'd be sick if I had it like reverse pattern. So it'd be. First gear would be sort of just there, and then the second gear would be down, so I can't go whack it into neutral.
And hang on, transbrake button just on the steering wheel.
I might do it on the end of the button.
You're not, eh?
I am on the end of the thing. You'd be sitting there like this, like, and then let it go.
That's sick. There's something cool about little features like that. Like even you mentioned Frank Dandy Engines a little bit ago. Frank Marquise has built a car like that. Now Tough Streeters are giving away XYG.
I did see that. That looks unreal.
It's got the T-bar shifter on a ratchet shifter, like on a manualised 2-speed or whatever it is, yeah? Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
It's a C10, so it's a 3-speed actually.
I was about to say,
T-bar shifter, it's got the light in it, so you shift gears. Like, that car could be engineered probably in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Little touches like that, even like, say, you've got an XY, you leave the shaker on it, but you're running EFI with a frontal body.
Yeah.
So it's just...
It's all the little details, and that's sort of like the detail that went into this ute, like... you have to actually see it and stand back from it and have a look at it. Like we added maybe an inch or two onto the bottom seal. Sorry. So like you look at it from like up close, you won't notice it. But then when you stand back from like here to the camera away, be looking at it and be like, it looks like you've sort of chopped the roof, sort of thing. And just the detail, the body lines, they're all there. Adam's done an absolutely amazing job, and underneath is just as good as like on top.
RSN 9-inch?
9-inch, yep. So that was all through.
I was ask a similar question.
Yeah.
Tubs or factory tubbed?
Factory tubs. It's probably the one thing I wish I should have done just like a little tub. I would have liked to get a little bit bigger tyre under it and get it nice and low and stuff like that. But for like face value of a standard ute rolling down the road, that's really clean. I don't think you can sort of pick it. Sort of to be what it is. It's like genuinely like a wolf in sheep's clothing, really.
So I know it's.
I don't want to like sound arrogant about how I just turn it up.
Should we wait? Maybe.
No, just keep talking. Should be right.
Pick it up.
Someone started a V6 Commodore Ford Raptor.
I drove one of them. I had one of them through Mount Barker as well just the other day.
And
they're rocket ships. Like I can't believe it. Like how fast they are.
They're quick.
They're quick, but you feel like
a baller.
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, like, I mean...
Feel like a P plate.
Oh, no, but hang on. You're driving an F-150.
But, like, I'm like... The F-150 is like a genuine armchair, right? Like, I did... In three months, I did 15,000 Ks in it, and it was just an absolute treat.
Well, it was funny... When I have car issues a lot for some reason, I was actually driving that very car that just started, and you go up beside someone in a Ranger and you're like, you just feel like your dick's bigger.
It is like that. It's like
So
it's
if
a
Western
proper-
Ford's watching, sponsor us a Ford Raptor.
Yeah, but now Charlie gets in the F-150. You see a Raptor and be like, settle down, mate.
That'd be a good ad actually. Have like a standard Ranger and then the Raptor and then the F-150 pull up.
Settle down.
Well, that's like even one of the guys I work for, he's got an F-150 Raptor as well. He's like decked up. Pretty sure he's got a lift.
Exactly, and then there's always going to be someone with a better car. So you're better off just be happy with what you got, you know.
Anyway, before we go right off topic,
Yeah.
so the HX, would you like to take it to Summernats, and would it? So obviously, when this comes out, the car's going to be revealed already at Motorex.
Yes, at Motorex.
So that's going to be done and dusted. Would you have liked to reveal that at Summernats, or would you say it's a top 60 car? I know it's your car at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know like the caliber of like cars and sort of like of what goes. I know they look just unbelievable, and like I always like because even with Jimmy and what he's doing from Fatal Finish with his cars, and he's telling me what other cars are coming there, and I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm a bit out of my depth and all that sort of stuff, and then I'd sort of look at my car and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, maybe I'm thereabouts sort of thing. So
You always doubt yourself, but I think everybody
100%,
always does that.
as you do, and like I don't care about winning anything, you know, like I just wanted to, you know, my whole thing is I'm going to show this car once, because like I don't see the point in me spending money. I know I'm like going to ruin it by driving on the road and all the paint and all that stuff underneath the car, because I didn't expect it to get this ridiculous, but yeah, I don't know if I'll do drag. I won't do drag challenge in it, but I want to take it to roll racing. I want to take it to the bend. I have a bolting cage for it, yes, which is like has been painted like in a charcoal grey with a fleck through it.
To match the trim, sort of?
No, not really.
What's the trim?
The trim is tan.
Okay.
So it's a tan bench seat. So it's still bench seat, and but I had to get the bench seat cut.
Yeah.
So like we took out like that much foam out of it, so I can actually fit in it and out of the back as well. So we'll sit lower, and I can actually fit in the car.
I've sat in, you know, Chris, he used to have the white Turbo HK, I think, that Tough Streets gave away. It's like you sit in that, your head's fucking smacked.
Yeah, there's
And you're
not
the
a lot,
size of Charlie's leg.
and there's not a lot of room in them at all. You know, like
You could probably drop punt in.
so like there's
50 metre.
Yeah, so I was like, I can't, like, I want a bench seat in this thing, like, because it's just the way it looks and it needs to be in there. So
what's it weigh? Have you weighed it yet?
haven't weighed it, haven't done
realistically, off the top of my head, that car wouldn't be more than, say, 1,400 kilos.
It shouldn't be, no.
It shouldn't be.
It should
Say
go
with you
really
in at
well.
1,400, max.
I think so. So I'm actually, what I'm excited about is like when I get back and I can actually set the car up properly. I know one thing I am going to have to do is put a bigger intercooler on it. I've just had to get what I've got. I can't remember what it is, but it's still like 100 mil or something like that. But for what we're going to do, I think we're going to need, and there is room in the grill and stuff like that for it. But yeah, it's just too small. So, but that's we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
So is the car going to be text? Because let's be realistic here. This thing's going to definitely go. I'm calling it an 8.
I'd like to go 8s. Yeah, it'll be I'll be able to put a 255 tyre on it.
Oh, so you can fit a 255.
I should be able to, is, but we'll. I've got to get I need to get a set of wheels
That's
made
even
up. So
more, man. 1,000. So you're talking about 1,000 horsepower at the wheels?
It should.
At the wheels.
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower at the wheels. That's what 700 kilowatt off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Dude, 700 kilowatt VLs. They're running low 8s.
Yeah. So I'm just. It's like another
Depends
thing.
if you accidentally column shift it into.
Yeah, it depends how well I can shift the thing, you know. So, and I do, and like because I've got a race seat for it as well. So the bench seat will obviously come out.
Air shifting it, like CO2 shifting.
Yeah, I've seen that. That might be something down the track to do with the Monaro or something like that. I think because I've set up the engine. We'll get to that afterwards. But yeah, the HX it's done like to a point where it's completely done, except we haven't started it. Yeah. So like Jimmy was like, "What? I know you want to start it," but he said, "Don't." He said because I've got coating on the exhaust and everything like that. It's a bit of a different colour, and
they'll burn it.
And he said, something could go wrong. It'll spray something. You're a week out. Like, just don't do it.
But it's ready right now. Like,
I could go put fluids in it and start it. So can you imagine 9 years?
9 years.
I'm sitting here looking at this thing. I'm like, geez, I want to leave this thing.
Just one little key to, and on E85, obviously.
Yeah, it'll be on
Pump some
E85.
fluids down the motor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When we leave, we'll be there Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
ECU.
ECU, it's an M-Tron.
Oh, M-Tron.
So I went through Denny from Design Wire. This is the same thing, ages and ages ago. And he was just like, oh, look, I do these all day. I can do one of these straight up. And he's like, yeah. And they sort of helped me out as well. So
Well, M-Tron is NEMS as well. He's got that in his FG, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe that VL had an M-Tron in it. The one I could have grabbed that Nick Caddy owns at the moment.
Oh,
Does
no, that was a Race Master, I think, or ECU Master.
yeah, so I don't know anything about it. So
Who's tuning it?
Bertan's got a Motec, M-Tron.
I don't know. Well, Paul Pavlo Motors in Adelaide, who tuned the Monaro, will have done for the Monaro and still do with the Monaro, but Adam from MPW has helped me out like at the track and stuff like that and setting up sort of all the features in there. But I'm going to drop it off Monday and hopefully we can get it running for my Woodside event and I can drive it up on a trade plate up to my Adelaide. I go Adelaide Hills Woodside event that I do for the last 2 years, and we had
It's like a cars and coffee.
cars and coffee
sort of,
at a sort of country airfield on grass. So
That's what you've been talking about. You'd love to do.
Yeah, like I do car events all the time down here in Melbourne.
Yep.
A lot of cars and coffee stuff I love. In terms of night stuff, I do a bit of charity stuff as well. Bigger car shows, like I've got a car show I'm hosting halfway through May.
yeah,
May 10th, I believe. Joel's
18th.
Garage. 18th.
Oh, sorry,
18th.
May 10th is at Joel's Garage. They're doing the cars
There
and
you go,
coffee.
I was
I'm
right.
incorporated with that, but then I've also got a big show and trying to do like first time ever doing like trophies and stuff.
Yeah,
like
cool.
that. So it's like, it'll be something good to dip my toes into and see where I go from
Yeah,
there.
that's what I do. It's it's chaos.
Will we ever see the HX to say Heathcote?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like Hold Nationals.
Did I say HZ?
HX.
HX. Also,
Yeah. I definitely Hold Nationals next
again?
year for sure. I'd love to take both cars over.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I want to do as much as I can. I'm going to get PPFs, so get it wrapped in PPF. So just
Clear
look
PPF,
up, try and look after it as much as I can. I'm just looking forward to trying to work it out. I've got a Tillet carbon fibre seat for it.
Yep.
So once I get that sorted and put the roll cage back in and
Good to go.
Good to go, basically. And I need to get a set of wheels. So I don't know what set of wheels. I want to go just a set of billet wheels.
Welds.
Welds, or I don't know. I'm just like I want to find something that's going to suit the car.
Yeah.
So it's but I don't want any black on them.
So through this period of time, there was a special car that I believe might have come into your life, Loretta. Was that around then? When
I've had Loretta for So Loretta's a 1989 F250.
Yeah.
And I bought that in Brisbane in end of what year was that? Had it all last year. So I bought it started last year. Yeah.
So it's kind of crossed over now.
It has. It's I bought it. Yeah, so I bought it as a daily.
So
basically.
you're pretty attached to it for a car you didn't have for that long.
No, I am very much. I said to the guy, and I sold it. Like, it was only because I got this deal with Ford, and I was like, because I needed a car to tow. Obviously, went to Rockhampton and sort of came here and sort of did, like I said, 15,000 Ks in.
Seen you go down the freeway before we even planned this. Remember I sent you a
Exactly.
message?
Yes, you did. Yeah. So and I loved it. It was. So it was a 250 and it was a 351 and it had a whole EFI on it. The guy who I bought it off in Brisbane is an old hot rodder, and he took amazing care of it. And then I but only drove it sort of. He used to daily drive it as well, and drove it sort of on and off. But I drove it from Brisbane to Adelaide, and I love being on the road, so I just loved that. And then I was driving around. I drove to training, put a sound system in it, and fixed because it had dual tanks in it. It was like 130 litres, and I'd get 250 Ks to a tank.
Yeah, nice.
Because of the old V8, but then I live up in the hills, and the freeway's 100 Ks, and to get up the top there it's just
So lucky you're a decent goal kicker.
Well, used to be.
Used to be.
Last few years are very questionable, but yeah. So I had that, and that car, and because I'd ride dirt bikes and mountain bike stuff, and I could fit 3 dirt bikes in the back of that thing.
Yeah.
It was It was awesome, and just had some serious character about it, and I loved it. And
So-
then it was sitting in my shed, not getting used. She was leaking oil. I got it all fixed, got it all nice, drove it back, and then I was like, I'll just list it. I'll just see what happens. Sold the next morning.
Straight away, couldn't believe
Straight
it.
away, and I was like,
Didn't budge on price, nothing. Just got.
just gone. And I'm like, fuck. I was like,
didn't expect
I
this.
did not. I thought I'd have it for a little bit longer.
So rolling into Port Adelaide training sessions, did
Yeah.
you have the coolest car once again?
Oh, always. I always had like the coolest car. Like even like I had a Toyota deal for a while as well with North Point Toyota, and I was rolling in the Hilux, but then I have the Monaro there.
Is that the Hilux you just sold? Or it's for sale?
No, the black one. That one I just bought. I bought because I didn't have a tow car, so I was like, I'll buy this and I'll tow around with this. And then so I sold 2 cars, and yeah, but yeah, I was always rolling into the club. And when Jarman Impey was at the club, he had a CV8R Monaro and then had a HQ Monaro, which was his dad's with the 427 in it and like turbo 400 and stuff like that.
And has he still got that?
He's still got that and the Monaro. So he's got both Monaros. He's got some cool cars. I think he has got like a little LJ Tirana or something as well that he wants to do drags and stuff in. So he could be another one for you.
I was about
get
to
on.
say, you might need to tear that up for us. Yeah.
Definitely. He's got, I think, a couple of Harleys and stuff as well. So Jars is very much into his cars as well. So
Yeah, in terms of like footy players and cars, like you mentioned earlier, now like I'd say pre-game talk or pre-podcast talk, like there's not that many footy players. Into
Well, the
car
ones
stuff.
we could
There
name.
is a few.
So obviously Will Hoskinelli, he's got an XW. Bo McQuarrie.
Bo
got fifth
McQuarrie,
time
yeah,
score.
I talked to him all probably too much about his cars. He's trying to sell that thing at the moment.
Yeah, I did say. Because
Yeah.
he was actually interested in buying my GDR as well.
Yeah, that's right. He did tell me that he's looking at that sort of stuff.
Oh,
so.
there you go. Yeah, but I believe now he's got an LS. Is it LS Turbo?
Sylvia.
I don't know if he
No,
owns it
I think it's just
anymore.
LS.
Yeah.
Yeah, LS S13.
S13. He goes and does drifting and stuff. And
Yeah, so he just goes and drifts that down at Calder, which is
down at
about
Calder.
15, 20 minutes away from here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's it. And he was looking. I think he was looking at a GDSR in Queensland or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't you just get a steel bumper car and then come do drag challenge with me?
And what did he say?
And he goes, oh, that sounds all right. I said, I'll find you one.
Well, I think he had a fun time at Power Cruise.
Oh,
it looks
bro,
like he had
he loves it. And like, because Dan Houston is obviously at Collingwood now as well. And Dan sends me his videos. And look at this bloke, he fucking loves it. Right? And he's in the parking lot, like starting his car and all the lads are around. I was like, that's so good because I used to do that shit too. I was like, yes. I said, I used to start like my VE.
He's from, isn't he from Adelaide?
Adelaide,
He's from Adelaide. I thought so.
Something in the water, mate. But yeah, I used to do the same thing.
We won't say what we actually think of his, but anyway.
That's right. We can have common ground on cars.
So just for the people out there, like we didn't really want to dive into footy too much, but is there any other guys around you that were into it that we might not know about?
Yeah, well, Lockie Jones.
Yeah.
He's another one. So he came on Drag Challenge with me last year.
Oh, okay.
And he had a VF. It was funny. Like he went through like a period of he had a VF SV6, and then he sold that and then bought a VF SSV. It was automatic, I think, a white one. And then he swapped it for someone who wanted an auto, and it was a better car. And then he put like cam and exhaust and stuff on it, and then he sold that, and because he was looking for a steel bumper car, he was looking at a VF GDS as well, and I was like, nah, don't worry about that. They're not fast. So why don't you get a steel bumper car? And then I started.
You're just sucking everyone.
I know, and I started sending him.
He's a bad influence, yeah.
You're the bad influence.
And I remember, I think I said to him, I said, put up a post on like one of those Facebook things and go, I'm looking for a tough steel bumper car. This is my budget. Rah, go. And then like all these cars come up.
Went crazy.
He bought a HJ LS turbo with pistons and rods and 9-inch.
That'd be fun.
And yeah, so he's.
So 1,000 horsepower combo.
No, well, it was pretty backyardish sort of thing, but it was for the money, perfect, cool cruiser, loved driving it on the street, and then took it then basically bought it, had it for maybe 6 weeks, and then came to Drag Challenge and did Drag Challenge with us.
Awesome.
And the first time driving it, he had like the motorbike open face helmet on, and he's proper tripper. But like and like he ended up like started off with like 11 or 12s or something like that, and then got car down to 10s, I think, and and like, didn't miss a beat the whole drag challenge. Only thing, it got hot one because his fan stopped working, so they just took the shroud off and then put another drag challenge car stopped and gave him an extra fan, and then he was back on the road. But then after a couple of weeks, he was racing at the bend again and torched 2 heads, pushed water out of the heads under the tyres, and then went sort of towards the wall, corrected it back, and then his tow bar that he had on from drag challenge that he made himself hit the wall and saved his whole car pretty much.
Third income.
Yeah, so it was bent up into
Did the clubs ever crack it when you were doing shit like this? Or do they know about it?
They probably don't recommend it.
No, well, they don't. It was frowned upon, I guess, you know, like it. Yeah, but it was funny because like we had Red Bull were a sponsor of the club, and like they would give me product and stuff to go to my events and that, and I'd talk to them all the time, and I'd be telling them, I'm going to ride my bike here, or I'm going to ride my dirt bike or ride my mountain bike here, I'm going racing this weekend, and they've come to the club and they're going, Charlie does a lot of racing, dirt bike riding and mountain bike riding. Is he allowed to do that? And then the club, like the media people were like, Charlie does whatever Charlie wants to do, and there's not many people that can tell him otherwise.
So were you a bit of a bad motherfucker?
No, I think Kenny, like, he understood that football wasn't my life, and he knew that I had to live. He's like, I think his words would be like, I know Charlie has to have outside away time for him to be able to perform. And
so there is actually a soft side to Ken Hinkley.
Oh, of course there is.
We're going down the football podcast. I knew this was going to happen.
No, there is. Like he's very much that way. Human inclined about like what it takes to be a footballer, because like without what I have here, like I didn't have the cars in the first couple of years when I got to Adelaide, and didn't understand what football culture was until I moved from the Gold Coast to Adelaide, where there's 2 teams that hate each other and will hate you, and then you also get like the fans who are unhappy with your performances and stuff like that of your own team. And you wouldn't know anything about that with Carlton, would you?
I love Harry Mackay. He's a gun.
And like I was thrown into it, and then I didn't have the cars when I first sort of got there. I had the HX, but it was somewhere else. And then you sort of just basically going home, like training, going home, hanging out, and like because I didn't really know anyone, I didn't have any family. Like I moved to the football club and I knew Kent.
Yeah,
that was it. And and I just sort of, you're walking around, and people yelling at you and shit, like, it was like, calling me, you're a fuckwit Dixon, and all this sort of stuff as cars are driving past, and you're like, what the fuck did I do? You know?
I'll be honest with you, if I seen you down the street, I probably would have said the same.
Oh, man, like, I just, like, you wouldn't go out, like,
really?
Because, the phones are out and people are screaming at you, yelling at you.
I was going to ask you, like, how do you go doing drag challenges like with, obviously, like, is it not so bad now with the kind of public figure you had? Did you find it would help you, be less of an advantage? Like,
no, well, not really an advantage really at all. Like it was great. Like I met sort of Adam through through Frank and stuff like. Well, I did drag challenge with Frank in 2018, his first one or whatever, and that was purely because I was following Frank, and Frank's son Simon saw me following and like commenting on his stuff because I just loved what he did, and Simon was like, it's like, holy shit, Charlie Dixon's following you. And he goes, who? Who's that? Who's that? And he goes, he's Port Adelaide footballer. He's a forward, you know. And he's Frank's like, so? What do you want me to do with it? And then I broke my leg, and then I had a couple months off, and he goes, now you broke your leg, come do drag challenge with me. And I was like, okay.
And that was it?
That was it. And that's how I met him.
I'm laughing because that was kind of me and Jesse when you started following us. I'm like, holy shit, Charlie Dixon follows. He's like, who the fuck's that?
Well, that's it.
I know who you are, man, but yeah.
But like, that's the thing is like I actually really enjoyed the car community more than anything, because like people who knew nothing about football, it'd just be a normal conversation about my car. And I'd love to talk about that.
I'm not a crazy football nut. I know maybe 10% about footy, and this guy is like ballistic for it.
Yeah.
So.
But that's it, and I just loved sort of talking about it. And it was funny with like talking about my cars and all that sort of stuff. And then people always come up and talk about football and all that sort of stuff, which is I'm sort of fine to do and all that sort of stuff. But with Frank, when I said, yeah, come over, come this date, we'll sort you out, got it all sorted. Flew in, picked me up from the airport in, I think it was like a ZF Fairlane, he'd just finished, he's like tuning on the way from the airport to pick me up. Or no, I Ubered to Calder, and then we went driving in that, and then we sheared the wheel nuts off the back of that. And then like that was hadn't even started yet, and I didn't get home till like 2 o'clock where we were staying. The boys didn't get back till like 5 in the morning. And then we had to go straight to Calder. And then I just thought I was coming along.
Where were you staying? Were you staying out this way? Or?
I'm not sure. I can't even remember. We weren't far from the track.
Yeah.
But we went, and then so I just thought I was coming along to film and like just sort of tag along.
Yeah.
You know?
You were wrong.
I was very wrong. He's like, all right, what I'm going to get you to do is that you're going to change your fuel lines over, check the tappets, and then you can do the oil and stuff like that.
But did you know that, you knew how to... Like,
No.
I've seen you try to service your car the other
I
day.
know, exactly. Like, I'm not mechanically minded, but I'm going to have a go.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I like, and I love doing it. And I have, like, I have blokes who help me at the shed because, like, of my football world was, like, quite hectic, and I could get those blokes to go and do it, and that'd be fine. But now I just want to dive in and do as much as I can and film as much as I can. But, yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, he'd show me how to do everything, showed me how to do this, how to do that. And what I was upset about was that he goes, you drive, and then so I can just do some tuning and stuff. So just to get him to tune it, and then I went to try and get in, and I didn't fit. The Kirky was way too small for me, and there was no way of getting in. So I was absolutely shattered about that because that car is like one of the cars that got me into basically drag race. Watching and wanting to do drag challenges, just seeing Frank sort of sideways down the track and muscling this XW down there. So. Yeah, but
it's gone like 6 second street car.
6 second street car. So it's But anyway, it's I was rapt to just be along with the ride and go from there. But really, it to get into it just shows how much goes into that sort of racing. And I had no idea about it and had no idea what goes into making a 7 second, 6 second car. And because like we changed wheels, obviously. For the street, so when we got to the track, we'd changed wheels, suspension, fuel lines, and then fuel lines, and then sort of check tappets, change the oil after every drive, sort of thing, plugs, and and it had a 15 litre oil sump on it, or 15 litre sump on it. And I was in charge of filling that, and I only had like a litre.
So you got to count.
So I was counting, and I'm like, shit, how many's that?
I was about to say, can we admit to Frank now, how many times did that thing go down the track
with 13 or maybe 14? No.
Maybe 17.
I reckon I got it most times. There was probably one time I was just like,
fuck it.
I reckon that's enough.
Could you read it off the dipstick at all?
Like I'd be like, yeah, that should be it, Frank, and he'd be like, yep, sweet, and he'd check it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was sweet, I think. But with the suspension stuff, I've only just sort of started working that stuff out now with my Monaro and that, and I've just put Avco shocks in the front. And with the Monaro, we'll get into the Monaro now, I guess.
That's the one car we really haven't touched.
No, well, that's it.
So let's get into it. So when did that come into your life?
Yeah. That one, so basically I had the HX, and that was just sort of going along in the background.
And then you sold the Teal Monaro just prior as well?
Yeah, so I sold that, but then it would have been 2017, I reckon. But I forgot about this car. Another car I sold the Discovery for some reason. I don't know why. I just did. I obviously get bored with things, and I bought a Series 2 VZ Maloo.
Tough.
For 24 grand.
Oh my God, what colour? Don't tell me yellow.
No, silver.
Yeah.
He had the twin hard lid.
Yep.
So twin hard lid, exhaust, so full exhaust, no OTR. I ended up putting an OTR and stuff on it, and lowered it a bit. And it had the HSV wheels, HSV brakes, everything. It had 90,000 kilometres on it.
What'd you sell it with?
Hey?
What'd you sell it with? How many Ks?
I sold it with 100,000 Ks on it.
For how much?
24. No, 26. Sorry, 26. It was like, and 6-speed manual, like beautiful. It was
Just
a beautiful car,
Yeah.
great car, and I loved it. And so I had that. And then, I don't know, so I was driving that as my daily, cruising that around. And then I was like, I want to get a Monaro. I was looking at one in the Blue Mountains. It was a 2002. I didn't want a 2002 because that was the same as like my VT wagon, like cluster and stuff. So I was wanting 2003 upwards.
The VY.
VY. So I wanted a VY. I didn't want the VZ because I didn't really like the flutes and like I didn't really like that model.
Yeah, well, it's like my uncle had a VY series, like GDO Monaro, but LE, so it was Martini grey to Sigs, black trim.
Yeah.
And that was probably, if it wasn't for my dad's Tirana hatch, which he's had for 30 years, that'd probably be my next like sentimental car which I could own. And Spilly doesn't own it anymore. He sold it to buy a house, as you do at all.
Yeah.
But that's like one car. Like I'd love just another Martini grey GDO Monaro.
Yeah,
Just like something about it.
That's the same thing. I was looking at GDOs and stuff like that as well, and one popped up. It was black. It was in Melbourne here, red interior, manual, airbags, Simmons, and 40 grand GDO. And I was like, that's pretty gangster, 40 grand. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then one popped up here in the one I've got, CV8, extractors. Full exhaust, no OTR, just normal intake. Harriet brakes, manual shift in it, and so I was like, yep, VZ dash, so 2003.
So it hasn't changed much.
No, not at all. And so I paid 20 grand for it. And it had 120,000 kilometres on it.
Jeez.
So it was, and I got it, he had 25 on it, but I got it for 20 because his wife had backed into the front quarter.
Yeah, nice.
And front quarter, and he goes, I'm just going to get it. I said, don't worry about it. I said, it'll probably cost you 5 grand. I said, I'll give you 20.
Is that the same quarter that I commented before? So on one of your previous videos we haven't even touched that you've got your own YouTube channel.
Yes, true.
Yeah. And we're watching your YouTube channel, and the same guard that you got the catch can out that you nearly scratched the hell out of.
Yeah. So no, that's not the same guard. That was the guard actually, but my other guard is all bent up, and my rear view mirror has been tech screwed on because I was going to my Woodside event, my very first one, and my wheel came off and hit the guard and bounced up on the road, smashed my rear view off, and then bounced on my door, and then sort of drove down the road, and I sort of went around. And someone who was behind me drove around me and then drove around my wheel and kept going.
No.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Must have been Adelaide supporter.
Must have been, 100%. Would have had to been. So I was like, and I'm like, I was already late, like sort of running late to my own event.
And when you're an organiser, you've got to be there, fucking at least
like
earlier.
2 hours beforehand. And
So why the wheel come off? Snap studs or something, or loose?
No, I
studs?
don't know. Like, because it was making a noise and I pulled
Maybe
over.
an Adelaide supporter undid your wheel nuts.
Yeah, but I went and checked them, and I just think it I don't know what the hell happened, but anyway, the wheel came off. But so my gut, like I said, sort of before we started recording, that Monaro is just like cops a beating, right? Like it went through stages when I built it, and like it'd sit for 6 months. I'd get it out, I'd flog the shit out of it, and it'd sit because of footy and all that sort of stuff. So, and it just took it. And the little 383 that we had first built for it just like the things that actually happened. But I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so it just sort of, and that's sort of why it's a bit rough. I'm going to fix it up when I do the rear end. So I've just gone through everything in the front. So everything in the front's ready for a 7-second pass. The rear end is just not. It's basically a Castle Main rear end in it, and it's basically a burnout rear end, and sort of there's bugger all adjustment in it.
Yeah, you remember saying, so you got like your top adjustment.
Yeah, top adjustment.
So it's AFCO shocks, you said?
Yeah, no, in the front I've got AFCOs, and then in the rear I've just got Vikings, and they're like maybe that big.
Short, yeah.
So then there's next to no adjustment, but I've left on 16 pound on it.
What's your best 60 foot?
60 foot was a 1.3, I reckon.
Yep.
And
So that's up there.
so
it's not bad.
it still leads. It's because it's heavy. right? Because it's heavy. So, but anyway, I'll go through the combo. Like when I picked it up.
So it went 383. What was the next step after that?
So basically, I was going to go Pro Charger again.
Yep.
And the boys at Paul Pavlo Motors were like, no. Why don't you go turbo? Have you had a turbo car before? And I'm like, no, I always hear this stuff about heat and it's just a pain in the ass, and it is. So I was like, I should just listen to myself. No, but so I was like, yeah, I want to keep it manual. I want to be able to drive it on the street. I don't see the point in having a purely race car where I can't drive it on the street. And so we went, basically built the motor 383, which is something where I was like, this is my dad coming out at me, he's like, no, you've got to keep it original, like original engine, original car, all that sort of stuff, matching numbers, all that sort of jargon. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go, because back then I could have got a Dart 427 for like $3,000. Like just for the block, right?
Jeez, you've missed out on a lot of good deals.
I know, man. Like that's just the difference. And then COVID messed up everything. And now it's like whatever. And hindsight's 2020, obviously. 383, and a local guy made up the turbo manifolds, and we went a Garrett GDX 42 with I think it was a 3.5-inch dump, and we made like 550 real kilowatts. And
fun sort of streetable power at that point.
Fun,
unusable power.
Unusable.
Yeah. And I went and I was like, wonder what these are like, and I got one of those S1 sequential shifters, so that just slap on top of a T56, and then you just row gears.
So it's pretty much like sequential, similar.
Yeah, pretty much. But
and clutch in then?
Yeah, still clutching. I hadn't set up like sort of shift cuts or anything like that, which I could have, but it was just like I didn't really enjoy it driving it around, so I went back just to a GM short shift. And the fastest time I ever ran in it at a quarter was 11.1 at like 145 mile an hour.
So which track were you using at this time? Because obviously the bend wasn't around, was it?
Well, no, it wasn't. So I had one meet at AIR, so Adelaide International Raceway. That's no longer sort of around, but apparently they're trying to revive it or something. But I'd go to Heathcote.
Yep.
So I'd go run there, and then
the old goat track.
Yeah.
Good old goat track.
And so I did Holden Nationals, was my first ever event in the Monaro. So we just finished it, made like 550 kilowatts. And then I put it straight on a trailer and drove it straight over to Holden Nationals. And that was where I ran it, the 11.1 over there.
Were you doing the YouTube channel at this stage?
Yeah, I just started.
So this is
so the Monaro was basically the car. An ex-partner at the time sort of convinced me to do it. So then I just started filming like what we're doing with the car, and that's sort of obviously clunky, and just not that it's very smooth now. I'm just sort of filming and doing and showing what I'm doing. But as you go into a football club, everyone gives you shit about like what you do on your socials. So everyone was sort of saying that. But I just sort of kept doing it. Just because I love like. All the events and stuff that I do are great, but I just love driving. Like I love racing.
I was going to say you could have done a cooking show like Christian Petrarca, but probably rather the cars.
It's funny. I did like a vlog the other day, and I made a steak sandwich, and someone commented, "That's enough of the cooking, please." And I was like, "Oh."
They're the vlogs a day with Charlie.
Yeah. A day in my life. Yeah. It's pretty funny. So
That set up. So that was the 11-second manual combo. And
if I knew how to shift it, it would have gone 10s easy.
So how did the ball keep rolling after that? Like what snowballed it?
Well, I did more because when the bend obviously got built, and when that roll racing took off, and
as it does state by state, because it's like New South Wales, Queensland, then South Australia.
Have you guys got it here?
It's starting to kick off.
Calder?
Just yes.
Yeah.
I actually haven't.
It's been kicking up.
I haven't been to an event yet. Jesse's been busting my balls. Absolutely go.
You've been to one?
We've been trying to, but I proved Amph right in this one. I was like, let's do a vlog. We've got a private Val cruise coming up. No shit, in 7 days the video clocked like 10,000, 11,000 views.
It's at 13,000 as we speak.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, we've got to do more of this vlog shit. I've got people hounding me in the DMs like, let's go roll racing.
Yeah,
like
100%. Like that crew that you had on that VL cruise. When you just all enter into bloody roll racing and just race each other.
It's like a lot of show ponies.
So what? But like
VL owners.
That's like
we're despised down here, VL owners. I don't know how it is in Adelaide. which is different.
Well, the last Mr. VLT's won like the last 3 roll racing.
In
Adelaide.
Well, actually, the last person to win roll racing down here was who owned that twin turbo Lambo from South Australia.
Australian car.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, because he came second at one of the ones I went to because he's got a Porsche 911 turbo as well, and he came second. And the thing is a rocket
Does he
ship.
play footy or something?
No, I don't know. I think he's a concreter.
Yeah, but South Australia, you guys got a few popular car enthusiasts over there. Like you got Jake Spokes, he's got his LS VLs and his 6 Junker VLs, which he just got.
Well, he's coming. He's coming over to Motorex. Yeah, because he asked me. He said, "Do you want to drive one of these VLs I'm building?" And I said, "I would love to, but I got to go the week before." So
I've got a mate that wants to drive one.
So yeah, he's
Blake Evans as well.
Yeah, Blake Evans. He's
Seco.
CK Evans
Racing.
So Evans Racing. He's just quit his job and taken off. That's Blake. He's doing
Blake
his own.
Well, he's got the car I grew up seeing him drive was the LC Tirana.
LC Tirana, and then he's got the hatch as well.
Yeah, the yellow one.
Some wild cars. He builds a beautiful
RX3
car.
as well.
RX3's Mrs. Car,
LS Turbo.
LS Turbo now. That's gone in the 7. So he's been racing Kenda. So I'm doing Kenda as well in the Monaro. Which is going to be fun. But yeah, we've got some pretty wild cars over in Adelaide, and there's more and more getting built. Now we got the racetrack.
I was about to say, is the racetrack pushes a bit?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Like
and
you want to get out. They just had Andrew sort of grand finals on the weekend.
Yeah, they did. Well, a few Vic guys took out some trophies. Like one of my old neighbours, one of my dad's good mates, his name's goes by the name Snapper. He's got I don't know what you want to call it, like a super stock Mercedes.
Oh yeah,
like silver one, but it's like never seen something like this at the track before. He just took home a Christmas tree as well, brought that home. To Victoria.
Nice. But that's the thing, like the more racing and stuff. So I'm hoping to do like a couple of drag days as well with the band. We've been talking for like the last sort of 12 to 18 months about being an ambassador for the racetrack and getting down there, because I just want to do as much sort of racing as I can.
So obviously the Monaro is teched and all that?
It's been teched, yeah. So I've got to get it re-teched for if it goes into the 8s. So I haven't run an 8 seconds yet.
So you've got your Andrew licence?
Got my Andrew licence, yes.
Yeah, for 9s?
For 9s, yeah.
Now to be teched for 8s, what's that, twin chutes, stuff like that?
I don't know about twin chutes.
Well, you probably won't go over is it 170 mile an hour?
I don't think I'll go over. I'm sort of
170 is a 7-second pass, probably, isn't it?
Yeah. So the current state of the car, was it a jump from when you went the 11s manual to now what it is, or was there something?
No, it went so. I bought a transmission for the HX, which was a Cohen Reed case Power Glide, 2,000 horsepower, $6,000 straight from Outlaw Speed Shop. Bought that and I sat it in my shed. It sat for like a year or two, and then I was like, went roll racing, got into I think I got knocked out again at like the 2nd or 3rd round, and I was like, fuck this manual bullshit.
So I'm not quick enough.
I'm not quick enough, and I can't shift it, and that was probably just more driver fault. And my last time I did it, I'd just changed to tough mounts, put like solid mounts in it, and shifting it was so much better. And Jace was like, why didn't you tell me you didn't have my mounts? So you actually
felt the difference?
Felt the difference because the whole shifter wasn't moving over with the old rubber mount as it's twisting when it's coming on. So is that
solid mounts in the engine as well? Obviously you already started, and then you went solid mounts in the transmission?
Yes. Yeah. No, solid mounts all up. So I just had
engine mounts.
It was all just hydraulic the whole time.
Yeah, so it was just the standard engine mounts and trans mounts, and then I took it to Jason. He fixed it all up, and then it shifted. I was able to shift it quicker. Still not quick enough, but so then I was like, fuck this. I was like, I got a Power Glide set now, I'm just going to use that. And so got a converter made, chucked it in, and and then that's when I realised how fucking fast the car actually was. Because I remember going up the freeway and shifting into like top gear and it like wanting to overtake me, and then sort of going like this down the track, scaring the absolute shit out of myself.
And that's with the old setup still?
No, that was with the Power Glide in it.
Yeah, but what setup are we talking?
Oh yeah, so that was still 383 and a GD42, and then Mr. VL Turbo was selling his GDX 45, and then so I bought that off him, and then we put that in there and just fitted on the bonnet, and and then sort of we made same sort of power, like 550, 560, I think. And we're only running like 15 to 18 pound, and it sort of ended up running a 991 at like 143 mile an hour. So,
geez, low mile per hour. Yeah.
And
So
we were having like a lot of back pressure issues
Yeah.
because we didn't really realise like how restrictive like the dump was, and then some of the crossover pipe was only like 1.5 inches thick and all that sort of stuff. So like with a manual car, it was sweet because you'd sort of coming on and off, and then you'd be able to get out the back. Like that thing was awesome. Like I used to be able to just go first, second, third, fourth, and it just blazed the tyres the whole way, and you could hold it flat and it'd hit the limiter sort of straight away. Going up the freeway like this, it was so much fun. But
In Mexico.
In Mexico, yes, exactly.
Yeah. You went and played footy over there in Mexico.
Ducked over. But and it was just that was it. But then like when you'd be holding it sort of at the top RPM, it'd just be like doing there, it'd be blowing the spark out.
And it's always on boost, pretty much.
Exactly. So it'd and we sort of had trouble. So like it'd get to 100, and like I couldn't get over 145 mile an hour. It just wouldn't go any further than that. So we'd be working on the 60 foot, and we got down to like a 1.3, and that's when we got the 9.1, and then we changed. What did I change? I changed engine. That's right. After drag challenge, change engine. Yeah. So after drag, we did drag challenge in it.
Effect.
Just change your motor. Fuck it.
Yeah. So after drag challenge, we did. I was just like hadn't been in the car in ages, and I just like messed up every time I got onto the light. I fucked everything up, like red bulb, and didn't get a time and all this sort of stuff. And then my harmonic balancer nearly came off. Had a good time though. But
So what happened with the harmonic balancer? Because actually a mate of mine, same thing happened.
Well-
Pushed the harmonic balancer out. Did it break the key?
no, well we were driving. So we're on our way back to Tailem Bend, and a whole lot of shit happened on drag challenge, funny as. And we're cruising, and there's just a vibration that's come over the car, and I'm like, the exhaust has just popped off.
Didn't heat up or anything?
No,
Didn't throw the belt?
No.
Yeah.
So we were like, drive shaft just must be hitting against the exhaust. The exhaust has come off the rubbers. Pulled into a truck shop was like, yeah, chuck it up if you want. Put it up, hangers actually came off. Put them up, went to drive back out, same
Still
there.
there.
Turned around, popped the bonnet, and we're looking around, and the harmonic balancer's doing this. And he's like, turn it off, and then we sort of put it back on, and it had just basically come loose over time. Because like I said, I would let this thing sit, I'd get in it, I'd thrash it, take it to roll racing, stuff like that. I even did a video where I took it up to the bend with Ollie Wines and Tom Cleary, used to play the thing, and I drove the Monaro up, they drove I had a FG GS Ute, automatic, the supercharged Coyote one, and it was just off the speed straight, speed off the straight, track day, you spend like $100 and you get like heaps of laps. And so I threw them in the car, and Ollie Wines is going down the main straight, coming around the corner in first, rips it second, and then as he goes to go to third, goes back into first.
Oh no! Money shift.
And didn't think anything of it, and we just kept cruising. Nothing was really wrong. And then
Good, let's be shift. That was an RB.
for a year, drove it around for a year, and then we put it on the dyno. Like that's what I mean. I just flogged it, parked it, flogged it.
So you couldn't even blame Ollie for whatever?
No, so like we put it on the dyno, and it's just like it wouldn't make boost, and it was making, and then so pulled valve covers off, we broke 3 valve springs.
You reckon it was from that?
Well, yeah, it was Ollie, it wasn't me. No, but like, and so that was that happened. We fixed that, and then it was sweet. Made another. We actually put like 20 odd pound into it one day, and it made like 950. Horsepower,
Yeah.
and it's still an alloy little block, and it just took it, and
So
then
that's 600 kilowatt, 950, about 630.
So and but then like again back pressure issues and all that sort of stuff. So then after drag challenge, I had a trailer, and because I hadn't set up my flex fuel, I was like towing around like 150 litres of E85, and I bought this trailer off Marketplace. It was a mountain bike, a BMX trailer. Anyway, we're cruising along, coming into Swan Hill, and then next minute, bang, 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 trailer's snapped from the A-frame, like right where it sort of lines up, And so like it's still, the A-frame's still attached to the back of the car,
Yeah.
and then the trailer come and smacked us in the back of
With
the
all the 85 in it.
with everything in it. And then I managed to like brake and catch it, and then sort of pull off the side of the road. And then this
Jesus.
old guy come out and was just like, "Oh, you guys all right?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, no, we just snapped trailer," and we were thinking about like just loading up like Lockie's car and
leaving the trailer there?
and then just taking the wheels off it because they were the Monaro's wheels, and then just leaving it there. And the guy goes, then Eric, he's a boilermaker who had a little Hilux, who was doing it as well, and he goes, "You got a welder?" He goes, "Yeah, I got a welder." He said, "You got some steel?" He's like, "Yeah, I got some steel. Do you want to weld it up?" And we're like, "Yep." Went down, welded it up in his shed, and then made it stronger and better, and then we're back on the road.
What's the chances of that, yeah?
Oh no! Like literally, we had to take it down this grass hill, so we're all hanging
Carrying
onto
it?
this thing, carrying it down.
So is it still going?
I sold it.
Oh, you sold it?
Poor bugger.
No, hey, it's stronger than ever. I was just like,
Reinforced.
I told him, I said it snapped, but we reinforced it. As you can see, it was hilarious. But so that was with that. But then came back and then ended up same thing as what Lockie Jones did. I did that 9-1, and then I came back and I was like, oh, let's pull the headlight out because we're only running gate pressure so we're only running like 15 pound on gate pressure, and we ran that 9-1. And I'm like, right, I pull the headlight out and then let's just see what that does. Anyway, it rammed 18 pound into it just from pulling the headlight out and the turbo guard off. And pushed water out the radiator cap onto the rear wheels, and there's a clip of me. And for some reason, I do not put two hands on the wheel after I shift into top gear. I just leave it on the shifter. And
That's what's probably saved you, but everyone's like, that's what's probably saved
well,
you.
I got ripped for it again, just in Cootamundra. I blazed the whole track, and I'm just one arm in it. I'm just doing this.
But isn't it better? Exactly, because you can bring it around.
Well, I don't know. Someone ripped me about it and said I need to learn how to drive and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I'm there. It's the only thing that saved me, I reckon, is that I got back on the gas because I didn't really know what it was, and I'm sitting there and I was like, I was on one. I reckon it would have been close to like an 8-second pass, and I'm like, hell yeah! And then next minute it goes right, and I was like, what? And I was like, what the hell's that? And then I just jumped back on it and went and just flicked him again.
That's what's probably saved you.
And then it flicked it again, and then I was like that and jumped off, and then I rolled over the line, did 9.4 at like 100
Sideways.
100, yeah, pretty well. At 100 and I think it was only like 120 mile an hour. So like it would have been probably
You're
an
on
8
for
second.
PB.
Yeah, but and then I was like, what the hell was that? And then pushed water out, went back, checked it. We put the headlight back in, went to do it again, and did a burnout, and then it pushed water out again. So I was like, nah, backed out. So we did.
This is when the new combo comes in. Yeah. All right, so we're back, and some of you are probably thinking, what's going on? So what happened was we had a bit of a camera malfunction the night before, and Charlie was good enough to come back down again to finish off the podcast. Thank you very much.
No worries.
So we were talking about the Monaro, and
Yes.
what led you to this new combo? I believe you pushed water through the old combo?
Yeah, so we just pushed water out the radiator cap, and I think we did a head gasket as well. So, and before that, I'd ran it. I got so pissed off at roll racing because I put a brand new water pump on it, and it for some reason wasn't working, and we tried to get it working, kept blowing a fuse. So then I ended up just sending it down sending it down the track, and it got up to 120. So I did some damage to the little 383, and then I sent it down the track after putting a new set of head gaskets in it, and then we did it again, sort of thing. And so then I was like, all right, let's go.
It's done. It's time to
let's go. We do LQ9 cast iron block, and still a cathedral ported head, so I could run the plasma manifolds and stuff like that I've got.
The top plenum on it.
Yeah. Yep. So run all that same sort of stuff. And
While we're talking about the heads and all, I've actually got a couple of questions for you from viewers. They're still 6-bolt heads?
no. Oh yeah, they're standard 4-bolt heads.
Standard 4-bolt heads.
Yeah.
All right, so
There's like no, pardon?
You covered the block already. You know what block you
Yeah, yep. So LQ9, but it's stroke to a 405 cube.
Yep.
And it's got the standard heads with ARP head studs and all that sort of stuff. So we ran, we had it at 21 pound, I think, or just 20 pound, and it made 1160 at the tyres.
So, what was the shop again we're talking about that actually built the motor? Or was this all
Paul
done
Pavlo Motors. So
Yep.
Michael from he built the RB, and then he built the LQ9, and then he's also done the old Monaro engine and the one that he pulled apart the 383 and had a look at the bearings and
Does
stuff
all
like
your
that.
work for you.
Yeah, so he does all that sort of stuff, and then Sean, who works for them as well, rewired the Monaro as well, so which is a Haltech 2500.
But you're running a different dash, correct?
Yeah, so I run a Motec dash in both of the cars, and so I actually went to Harrop today and did a little bit of a tour through there, and which was awesome. And the reason I got it's the C1212, C1212 or whatever they call it, dash from Motec, and it's the big
12-inch dash or
12-inch
whatever
dash.
it is.
Yeah, so I first saw that at Time Attack in Sydney, 2017 or 18 or whatever, and it was in their white Monaro with the 427 in it, and I was like, I want that in mine, and I got it. And they're like, oh, it's a bit of a pain in the ass to get in there. You got to cut out the back of the thing, and then the only reason, and then if you want to get it out, you have to pull the whole dash out. And yep, that's exactly what happened. So did all that, yeah. And it's in there.
How's the communication go between the Haltech and the Motec?
It was a little bit of a nightmare to start with to get them just to work, but we had it plugged in the wrong can, and then we couldn't get it to work, and then plugged in the other can, and it worked. And then you basically just got to load in, go onto your Motec sort of side, and then you can load a dash in. And Denny from Design Wire, who's in Adelaide, who wired up the HX, which he did an amazing job. He helped us with that, put a couple of different settings in it, but I've just got to take the time and then I make something else. And he put the Holden logo and stuff like that when I start the car, little things like that. But
I did a shoot on an XE that was done by Dan Engine, Sam Italia's car. It's a red XE. EFI done full tech.
Yep.
He clicks it over, as soon as the ignition photo of his car comes up.
Yeah.
Even Haltech, you can do stuff. I've seen people with the new UC10 dashes, they put their shop logo, then it goes to the dash screen. All these little touches that make the difference in the car.
Exactly.
Just, little details.
There's so much stuff you can do, and I just haven't even got anywhere near any of that. So, but I did have the program on my old computer to make sort of dashes up, and I before the car was finished, the Monaro was finished, I started making up dashes and that, but I don't even know if I've still got the plug there. So if I want to redo it, I've got to pull the dash out and have a look at it. But it's so it's all together. But I went all new manifolds and everything. I went 2-inch primaries, and I think we got a 4.5-inch dump or a 4-inch dump or something like that. So the guys from Adelaide Motorsport Fabrications, so Admo Fab, they did basically all the turbo and ran all new Dash 12 fuel lines from, obviously because we were running sort of this bigger turbo and we've got more
So is
air.
this a cell setup now, or is it a tank still, a factory?
No, it's still a factory tank at the moment. That's the next thing on the list basically, is like I said previously, is the car at the front is set up for a 7 seconds with the Avco shocks, and the G57, it's a Pulsar turbo, 89 mil or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It's massive. It's
big.
It's huge.
It's huge, yeah.
And so that's a Pulsar, a G57 sort of setup. We went stainless steel manifolds, and we went twin blow-off valves, and basically the biggest wastegate you can get.
Did you change the wheel at all in the Pulsar Turbo, or it's literally as it's come off the shelf?
As it's come off the shelf, we just sort of threw it in there. And I had a GDX 55, a Garrett, that I bought off Marketplace. And the boys are like, well, why don't we doing everything brand new? Why don't we just grab something brand new? We can get a good deal through Pulsar. He said these things, and Adam uses them as well. So
everybody swears by them.
For the price point, what's for a brand new GDX 55 or whatever, a Garrett, it's
4.5.
No, they're $8,000.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So or plus. I mean, don't quote me on that, I guess, but I know I looked at, because I paid $6 for the one for the HX, and I reckon it was around the same for my 42 or for the Monaro, and then I paid $3,000 for the one off Marketplace, and I sold that to a mate who then just recently sold it because he just went down the exact same path. He said it's probably too big for my combo.
I don't know how true it is, and I actually heard that the early Pulsar turbos, you could actually see like a little bit of a Garrett frame, you know?
So probably.
They probably come out of the same factory.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like
you wouldn't be surprised by it, to be honest.
I know, like
so many companies sharing.
Well, that's
stuff.
it. Yeah, but I mean, shit, it works. We're running CO2 on it, and it comes up reasonably well. So
even a lot of the newer Pulsar stuff I've heard. So a lot of the newer stuff people are loving. Like it's a lot really consistent. Like where maybe older stuff used to be hit and miss, newer brand at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's like they've got it nailed down. So it's like
I think so, and that's sort of like for the price point and what they are, like it's doing its job.
Yeah, talk about coming on boost. Obviously, I've seen a few videos from you from Rocky Nuts.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're bumping in a little bit.
Yeah, well, I started sort of just on the brake, and then Adam, we sort of jumped on, and then we were trying to leave like basically at like 3,800 sort of RPM, and I think we only got one run in at that, and it sort of went really well. It sort
Is that when they blew the tyres back like the whole way?
No, that was Cootamundra.
that was Cuda.
Yeah, so Rocky Nuts was just basically me on the brake, and then we got one in, and then that's when the car was shutting off.
Yeah.
So we had troubles with not 100% sure. We think it's the relays and stuff like that, and it's just too much power. The pumps are trying to draw too much power,
yeah.
and then jump on the trans brake, and then sort of the car shuts off completely. So Sean's been going over it the last few days. That's why it's not here. It was supposed to be here as well for Motorex and do the dyno challenge, but it was just going to be too hard. So the boys are just going to get it ready. I might try and get to roll racing on the 10th if it's all ready at Adelaide. Yeah, before my meet on
Sunday.
On the Sunday at Woodside. I haven't been to a roll racing I don't know how long, so we'll try and get to that.
Before touching on more roll race and stuff like that, your CUDA experience, how was that?
Yeah, I love CUDA. CUDA is just an awesome event, and it's more heads up now. And my auntie and uncle live in Cootamundra, and I love it. It's just such a pretty little town, and so I go there. I used to just go there every year, and then I found out all that sort of stuff was happening. And my uncle used to work for the council, and he was one of the first ones 15 years ago that actually allowed them onto the airstrip.
So how long has it been going for?
Longer, yeah, around that, yeah. So
yeah, right, okay.
and it's pretty chilled, but it's just such a good event. You can do, so you come around, you do a burnout, and then you go line up, and then basically the first time I did it was with Motive DVD, Andrew Hawkins.
Yep.
And they had a proper tree, and then this time it was basically a flashing orange light, and then when you pull up, it'll be red, and then he'll point at you, like basically just heads up racing. So he'll point at you, you go, yup, he'll point at him, you go, yup, and then you just bang, go.
And I've seen a couple, you had to reverse the car off the line.
Yeah.
Is that same
That was the
issues?
same
Yeah,
issues. So,
yep.
and like, as frustrating as it was, I still got like, a fair bit out of the car because it's brand new and we got so much data out of it, and which was really good. So the combo was just brand new, and it had nearly 2 full days on the dyno. So the boys in Paul Pavlo Motors, they ran it up one day just to sort of make sure everything was good before we went to see Adam. And then Adam ran it up for like half a day there, got it sorted, and then we went basically straight to the track on the Sunday. We did 6 to 7 runs there. Put it on the trailer, I hightailed it to Westmoreland, picked my uncle up, went to Rocky Nuts, drove it around town, and that's when it was sort of getting hot. We had some heating issues, and because I'm still running the standard radiator and
fans.
And the fans were new, but we sort of worked out that the belly pan that we got on there, that there was a few drag challenge people who were talking to Sean, and they were like, "Oh, we take ours off." When we go driving on the street, because the heat just sort of can't really escape underneath, so it just comes up and it just cooks the engine sort of thing. So I was like, oh, that actually makes sense. So we'll try that. I'll take that off if we go roll racing and see what it is. We contacted PWR, who didn't give me, but they gave me a good deal on a rate. They built a radiator for me for the HX. Got into them, and then they sent one off the shelf for the Monaro, which is pretty cool. And so hopefully we'll see how that goes. But it was Kuta is such a good event, and like I had it on the highest setting on my first run.
That was when you absolutely blew the tyres off.
Blew the tyres off the whole way, and it was funny. And the same thing, I had just the one hand on the steering wheel, and I was just like this.
I remember watching it because you had the two camera angles. You had the Osmo on the roll cage, and then you had the other camera on the dash. And it was just like you see you
just doing this, and then the one from the back, you could just see the smoke coming up. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'll just see what it does. And then I got on it, got off it, got on it, and then I just held it flat, and it just peeled the whole way. It stayed fairly straight. So, and the
Do you know what you ran?
No, because I got a draggy from the boys there, and then by the time I sort of got to the line a couple of times, the car sort of just shit itself, and that's sort of when I sort of come up back, like I got on the trans brake, and well, that's it. It was just like, it's just fickle things, and I managed to get 3 or 4 runs there at Kuta, and I had one more day left, and the guys there were like, oh, do you need someone can have a look at it? I'm like, nah, listen, I've just done like 3,000 Ks.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm fine. We can go back, we can diagnose it.
Yes.
I've got to get onto the HX anyway,
Yeah.
so...
how many passes do you reckon you did all up? Because it was like Heath get Rocky Nuts, then...
so Heath
just
get Rocky
pounding on
Nuts. So basically, well, I tested it out, like I was supposed to do the cruise, but the street cruise at Rocky Nuts, didn't get to that because we're sitting in line and the car was just coming up to like 100, and got up to about close to 110. So I was like, I don't want to be sitting in traffic and doing that. So I just parked it, and then we went and watched my dad and my brother and that cruise around in the panel van, which was cool. And and so we did. I think I had 4 passes at Rocky Nuts as well. So on the street, which was awesome. Like when you're on an actual street and there's a pub on the corner, and you're staging up like next to
that would have to be one of the best things to
and that
watch.
was like the whole reason I wanted to go.
Yeah, or even race, like watching's one thing, but imagine racing that.
Yeah, and it's a road, so you're like down the end of the road like this, and it's just an awesome...
How's the braking area?
Yeah, decent. Yeah, definitely. It's only 8th mile, so which is all you really need. And I was in the 650 class, and I only ran like a 7.4, I think. I maybe or 7.4, 7.5.
That's taking it pretty easy.
We didn't really get too much sort of time to do it. The only thing that I'd say was like weird was that when we made it through the finals, we won all 3 races or all 4 races or whatever it was, and then they go, all right, you've made it through, be ready to go at 9:30. So everyone gets down there. So there's like 4 classes or whatever. Everyone's there and they're like, oh, we're running the grand champions first. So like which are the show cars in the area. So they have to do it's like some of that's where you got a grand champion where they got to do all all that sort of stuff. So which is sweet. And then they started with the 9.5 class or whatever it is. So the slower cars first. I was like, it's cooler. Wouldn't you want to get the fast cars out of the... But anyway. They don't care. They just sort of... But so I was sitting there, and then I try to bring it up on the 2-step, bang, cuts out again. And then get on the phone to Adam. He gets it sorted. And then we're going up, and I was talking to one of the guys. I said, when's like the 6.5 class? He's like, man, I don't reckon you will even need to get in your car till about 3 o'clock. And I was like... It is 10 o'clock. I'm like, why am I down here? So I was like, but anyway, I was like, you know what? I had my uncle there. My dad had to go to Sydney. He had some stuff that he had to do in Sydney. So my brother was taking him. They were loading up and driving back to Cairns. And I was like, you know what? Let's go. I said, let's just put it on the trailer. We'll go. And then I can service it, sort it out in West Wyalong, ring Adam, and I'll do a run on the street. Mexico.
You weren't filling that up 1 litre at a time, were you?
And then we can go from there and sort it out, and then I can get ready for Kuta. And so that's what we did.
He did fill it up like that.
Yeah.
Did you fill up 1 litre at a time?
Yeah, he had like 1 litre cans, And then you got to like 3 litres, you're like, I've got another 5 litre can, take 7 litres.
Yeah. I started that. Yeah, I was like, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. I was like, hang on, I got 5 litres there. And 7 litres.
For people who are watching, they can go catch us on
Drivin with Dixon on YouTube, Drivin with Dixon YouTube, all Instagram. I post basically through Charlie Dixon Instagram, and then Drivin with Dixon Instagram as well, and Facebook.
So people who try to service their own cars, like I've got pretty small hands. It is actually pretty entertaining to watch you try to service your car. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm like, and like to go try and get my fucking like spark plugs out and check all them, and like I've got to pull half the shit out of the way.
You have
like,
a good grip for the oil filter.
Oh,
but
yeah.
everything else
But
is stuffed.
it's
No,
like,
even the filters are cut on the
because the
other-
filter's only like this big,
And
so
it's like the K-frame, yeah.
yeah, so and it's just like I've got like 2 fingers on it, like trying to turn it, and my fingers are all bent and shit, so it doesn't really help. But
So more on the car. So it's Power Glide, yeah?
yes, Power Glide.
Yeah.
It's got a so it's this. The Power Glide was supposed to be for the HX that's in the Monaro. So that's the one I had sitting there. As I didn't store it, get onto it, and I was like, oh, let's go get another one. So I was like, all right, rang Outlaws, and I said, oh, can I get the same thing I had for? They're like, yeah, no worries, 12 grand.
So what are we talking, like, obviously straight cut gears, 1,000
Yeah,
bucks?
it's I think it was like rated about 2,000 horsepower. So it's a Cohen Power Glide reed case or whatever like that. And then I took it to someone and they sort of mucked around with it a bit. I can't even remember, but like I paid $6 grand for it.
And now it's doubled.
And then within 12 months, I went to go get another one. Or yeah, within 12 months, I went to go get another one. It was $12,000.
Yeah.
And then I had someone build me one for $8,000.
Yeah.
So
So still save a bit of money there?
still save a bit of money there, but it was just like, for the exact same thing, why?
Yeah.
You know, so, but anyway, that's just the way of the world at the moment.
Tail shaft?
Tail shaft is I think it's just aluminum.
Two-piece, one piece.
One piece.
Oh, one piece tail
yeah,
shaft?
one piece tail shaft.
And tyres, you're on a 255?
255
Yeah.
50 or 60, I reckon.
Mickey Thompson.
Radials, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
radials, yeah. So yeah, it's I cooked those last tyres. And then I put a new set on for a Cootamundra.
So obviously the aim is with this car to run a 7?
Eventually,
Yeah.
my aim at the moment is just to dip into the 8s. just to dip.
What's the PB been with this?
9.1 at 143.
Yeah.
So-
And 60 foot.
60 foot was a 1.3, I'm pretty sure, or 1.4, something like that. So, and
So obviously your mile per hour is down for that time.
yeah. And then I did 9.3 at 153 mile, or a 9.4 at 153 mile an hour, something like that.
So it's like it's gone opposite in the past.
Yeah, and I did a 1.4 or 1.5, 60 foot.
Are
so
we talking about Heathcote, yeah? Or-
that was at Heathcote, no prep at all.
Yeah, I was
so,
about to say.
and my last meet at the Bend, it was Kenda, and I did the practice day, and I was able to leave on 16 pound, and about 43.
So 16 pounds probably gate pressure for you.
Yeah. So we left on that, and it just took it the whole time. It was probably the hardest it's hit, and half my dash flew off. No, the gauges on the dash, they went flying back past me. So, the car's definitely it should with the power it's got, and with like I said, the rear end's limited, but we're able to leave off 16 pound, and that gets us a 1.3 60 foot.
And
we should be able to, with that
yeah.
mile per hour, we should be able to dip into the 8s pretty quickly.
Oh, nice. I think that's everything for the Monaro.
That's pretty much it for the Monaro, I reckon. It's like the funny thing is
Oh,
like,
it's all tech? Yeah.
It's all tech,
'cause
yeah,
you're
yeah.
running
Yeah,
It's,
what's the cage like?
the
So,
cage is more like a jungle gym than anything. It was like, because it was
Haven't
manual,
you seen it in the video?
and I put the seats in the back.
Have you still got the seats in the back?
Yeah, so
It's like
I had them.
massive X.
Yeah, I had them
seriously
cut
well.
through because I was like, when it was manual, I told the guy who was doing it that I'm, potentially want to do like rallies and like the Targas and stuff in it, and I was going to run it like flog
like
around.
Target, yeah.
The Adelaide the Adelaide Rally.
Oh, okay,
So what they do,
is that
yeah.
the one? Yeah, I think I know which one. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that'll be. And so he did it to that sort of spec, and so it's half weld in, half bolt in. And I was just like, I remember I was like, I want to still put the interior in there because like I want to put people in the back there. You cannot do that. Then I remember I went out there to check it on it one day, and I brought all the interior. And I said, oh mate, I've got all the interior stuff. He goes, I said, when do you need this? He goes, oh no, I don't need any of that. Little did I know, I did not need that ever again, because it wasn't going to go in. So I
So
literally.
now you can't even pull it out.
No, I can. Yeah, you can. So I'll cut it out. But all the interior, I took it to Ben from Elite Trim, who did the bench seat and all the trim in the Monaro, apart from the dash. And no, wait, did he do that? No, he did. Sorry, the velo seats, velo seats that I've got. He did them in the suede and the diamond stitching because that was all the craze when I built the car, and he managed to like cut the seats out and like wrap it all around the cage and stuff. So
And you're still struggling to fit.
still very much struggling to fit. Yeah, so I've got to get a Kirky and because I pulled cushions out of the
race seat.
of the race seat, and then I'm sort of sitting down like this. So it's quite, and like to try and touch the turn the cameras on, and then turn the CO2 on and all that sort of stuff. And
Whereas, like, even you were saying about the bench seat, you had that modified so you fit comfortably in
Yeah.
that. So
yeah,
And the Hilux. Yeah, so you got a Lolux.
yeah, Lola. Well, I sort of haven't really touched any suspension other than just put new shocks in it, really. But it's a car that I used to drive past at football club, driving to Port, and it was like a dull orange, and I was like, and it just sat there, and I drove past it for maybe a year or two, and I was like, fuck, and then one day I actually like slowed down and had a look, and had a for sale sign on it.
Oh, so it was just sitting out front.
It was just sitting out in front of someone's house. It was literally right around the corner from the club, and they had a Port Adelaide sticker on the back window, and I was like, I got them. and then I ended up sort of ringing the number. And I rang the number and I said, "G'day mate, it's Charlie Dixon here. I'm just ringing you about your Hilux." And he goes, "Shut the fuck up. No, it's not." He's like, "No, it's not." He goes, which one of my mates are you? Who are you? I said, "Mate, it is Charlie Dixon. I am ringing you about your orange Hilux out the front." And he goes, "Shut up." I said, "Mate, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm keen on your Hilux. What do you want for it?"
So take a photo in front of it.
Yeah.
imagine that. Like,
And so that was pretty funny. And he's like, "Oh, I want $3,000 for it." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So and I was like, "Oh, what about if I give you $2,500 and I'll give you a pair of boots and a signed jumper?"
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, right." And we got a bunch of photos, and then I ended up buying it. It had Recaro seats in them, but they were like clapped. Had a really cool sound system in it. No power steering. And yeah, I just wanted it to sort of rip around in. The missus I had at the time, she just moved over from Melbourne, didn't have her car there, so I gave her my Hilux, not the orange one, the other one I had, and then I was ripping around in this little orange Hilux.
just beat past the house on the way to training.
Yeah, I still to this day I say all I need is something that's got a nice stereo in it, Bluetooth, and then I'm set. And I don't, or Bluetooth, or just an aux cord that I can plug into my phone.
Yeah.
And that's all I need. And I'm just cruise. The tyres were cooked on it, so I found some territory wheels. They had some decent tyres on them, or no, I ended up putting brand new tyres on them. And the thing drove killer. And then it was just like basically my yard runner. Like, so I just put a bunch of stuff in the back of it, and I loved it. I loved driving it. And then when I moved up to the hills, it was my water cart. So I put a little water tank in the back with a little pump on it, and then I'd go and water all my trees. And then when it'd get wet, I couldn't use it because it'd get bogged. So, and like through winter in the hills, it is just saturated wet. So
that's your new place now, where you've built a beautiful shed.
Yep.
You actually live in your
I'm living
man cave shed.
inside the shed, which you can see on YouTube as well. I've done the whole build on that through Fielders. They hooked me up with helped me out with the shed and stuff like that.
I think you're living like nearly every man's dream now. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's it. I can be sitting in like my house and I can look, and I've got a big sort of window and doors.
It's like a man's dream floor.
So I can see.
You've got a sauna, gym. Have you got a hoist in there?
Not yet. So I've got a 4-post that I'm bringing up from. This is going to be like the first time I have like the HX and the Monaro together that are done, and they'll be like I'll be able to sit them in the shed like one on top of the other,
I'm going to sit
there and just look at them, like, and then I've got my 2 pieces of shit that are like the Hilux and the BA, which I love both of them. They'll be down in the other shed for once, and I'll be working on them. So like it was funny because like I was like got that 383 sitting there, and I always had in my head, I was like, oh well, I'm I'm never gonna sell that Hilux. I love it, and it's just such a cool car. And I ride dirt bikes and mountain bikes and stuff like that, and there's amazing mountain bike tracks. So I used to get And the road to where the mountain bike track is at Fox Creek is called Deviation Road. It's 80 Ks, and it is so tight winding. Like if you're doing 80 Ks, like that is just ridiculous. They do the Adelaide Rally through that, and I did it in a McLaren, and I don't even reckon I got as fast as I was going in the Hilux and the McLaren. Like, because it was like...
How'd you get your hands on a McLaren?
Zagami gave me a McLaren to do Adelaide Rally twice.
Fuck, I'm coming fuckers. my next life, yeah.
So Zagami always look after me. They're great, and so I've done the Adelaide Rally with them twice, both in McLaren GT. Amazing cars, and I actually fit in them pretty well. So
that's always a bonus for someone your height. So.
Exactly. Like I don't fit in any of the Lambos, apart from the new Revolto or whatever it is, the new hybrid. I fit in that one, but yeah, they're great. They give me a Bentley for a couple of over a weekend and stuff like that to go and do some shoots and just cruise around, take my family around.
I'll probably have the same issue with the Lambos. I probably won't fit in it either, but.
But yeah, no, sorry. Anyway, got off track a bit there, but
I wouldn't complain about my size. I could probably squeeze in the back of the Monaro with the roll cage.
I reckon you're good, 100%.
Hey, if we come up to Adelaide, we'll try to do it.
We'll try it, 100%.
Exactly.
I don't care. I'll lap in the back, man.
So yeah, the Hilux is getting the old 383.
Yeah, so I had that sitting there, and I was like, no, I like this thing. I don't. So, and like the poor old engine in it was killer. Like never missed a beat. I'd sit for months and months, and then I'd put a jump on it, and it'd start, and I'd drive it, and it'd be killer.
Is that until Ollie Wines touched it?
Yeah, pretty much. And then so yeah, I went to Jace at Tough Mounts. So I've just put up a video about the Hilux, which you can see, and Jace from Tough Mounts, killer job. Set me up, set the engine up. And I bought a T56 Magnum off Marketplace, so we'll see how well that is, I guess. And it's basically ready to go. Put a good clutch in it, 800 horsepower, I think it's rated to. And I sort of have a feeling that car might end up being very, very fast one day. So, and like...
You know what's going to happen. It's going to follow in the Monaro's footsteps, isn't it?
100%, because like when I pull out that rear end and like redo the whole rear end of the Monaro, I've got a rear end sitting there.
Why don't you put it in a burnout car or something?
No, I don't want a burnout car.
Burnout car will ruin it.
Yeah, it would, exactly.
It's like Summoners.
Yeah, well that's it. And I did like I said, I did go to Harrop today, and I was like, oh, full 383 with a little blower on it in a Hilux. Imagine how cool that'd be.
2500.
Yeah, that'd be pretty.
Those individual photo bodies.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's it's getting a little bit out of hand. But I just want to. It all fits under the bonnet. I've got like a little. So I just bought like cheap stuff, Aeroflow. I think it's Aeroflow, like one of those throttle body things.
Oh, you're about like the similar high-rise ones?
It's sort of like set up like a carby, but I've got a Holly.
Like a Victor Junior style manifold.
Yeah, the Aeroflow ones.
Yeah, so I've got, I bought a Holly EFI system, or like, Terminator or whatever they are. Got a little dash for it, got a cutout from
So it's going to be a cool car.
It'll be a cool car. I'm going to get aircon put into it as well.
An unveil next year, maybe, Motorex? No,
I don't think that'll have the calibre.
No.
But I'm going to make sure the aircon works, stereo works, and I'm just going to cruise it. But I want to get it ready for drag challenge because I want to put a couple of mates in that, and then they can come on the track, come with us and do dial your own and just have fun.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
So 100% drag challenge, you're doing it this year?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
I should
dates,
be in. They've released them. Yeah, so I think it's end of October, so 28th to like the 3rd or something.
And it's starting at the Bend.
Starting at the Bend, finishing at the Bend.
Finishing at the Bend, yeah.
Which is what we love. Sorry about you Victorian guys.
Starting in Victoria, get shafted now. So.
All our fucking goat tracks, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, we still go to Heathcote. They're still going there. I'm not sure what...
Well, it's Portland as well and Sunset Strip, which is Mildura, so it's still a bit of travelling.
So Bend, Heathcote, Portland, Sunset, back to Bend.
I think so. Something like that. So, yeah. Oh, loved it. Last time, even though like it was chaos, but it's just a story.
That was the whole Calder episode, wasn't it? When the first day at Calder got shut down.
No, I did it 2 years ago.
I
did the year before, yeah, because like they stripped the track and then had no prep on it or something like that.
It wasn't done in time, so it was like where they ripped up because the circuit track at Calder actually transitions onto the drag strip.
Yeah.
And they ripped up that portion. Don't know what reasoning was behind it. There's a bit of a transition and like a bump, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Like between the two surfaces, and I just don't think they got it done in time. And as people were saying, it felt like a footpath. So not much you can do about it. Didn't get done in time.
Yeah, exactly. So
we could see there, and you got the BA XR6 Turbo.
So BA XR6 Turbo, which is I've been doing like a marketplace build on that, and
sounds like my BF.
which is like, I mean, shit, nearly everything ends up being a marketplace build. But and then I had KPM. They hooked me up with like fuel pump and injectors, and then then they tuned the car for me and made 318 or 320 rear wheel kilowatt on 15 pound. Yep. So and we put a pulsar, like the turbo was cooked, but we just used the housing and we replaced it with a pulsar core, and it sort of works pretty well. But
E85, 98 still?
No, still on 98. I was like, another marketplace build. Someone was selling 6 boosts high-rise manifold and a G35 or something. So I bought that, had a dump, had everything. It's got everything on it, ready to go, and wastegate, all that sort of shit. So I was like, yeah, let's put this on. And then they're looking at me like, no, we're going to be hard to keep the boost down on this. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait and I'll do it another time.
So what's in that? Is it a 4-speed order, or you got a T5 manual?
It was a T5, and then I found a TR6060 on Marketplace.
Yep.
Put an 800 horsepower clutch in it through Extreme, I think SA, Extreme through, So I put that in there, and it drives killer now. But cruise control doesn't work in 6th gear.
Why's that? ECU?
No, well, it was a 5-speed, so I just...
So it's not meant to have that 6th gear?
I think it thinks it's in neutral.
It thinks it's in reverse.
Yeah.
Why do we need cruise control
Can you drive it in 5th with cruise control?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. But no, that I actually really like driving that car around as well. Like for a car just to rip around, I put it... I did some XYZ coilovers in it, and then... did leafs, did upper and lower control arms, so the car like handles really, really well. From when I got it, I paid like 13 grand for it, and he'd done like a few bits and pieces. Had ARP head studs, it had a new timing chain, and it had some other injectors in it, but so we changed all that, and then
fun car.
Yeah, did head gaskets and all that sort of stuff. Went through the whole thing. I needed to replace the radiator. And then I was on Marketplace and I was heading back to pick up the HX, and found a built BA F6 motor that someone had just finished and weren't going to put it in the car. So I'd been watching it for a bit, and I think he started with 17 on it, and because that's what I owed him, and I ended up getting him for like 8 grand. And I was like, you know what, if I sell this one, like this is my car math, right? So if I sell this one for like, so if I get 5 grand or even 4.5, I've got a built engine where I can get 800 horsepower for 4 grand.
And not only that, like we were saying before, how long ago was that built? Like, God knows, that'll cost you 30 grand.
Oh, exactly. That's it. So
same situation as the Power Glides,
and he's got the full build sheet, and it's sort of all painted up. It's all really nice, and so.
How the fuck do you keep up with all these cars, man?
Oh, it's stupid. I've got it ahead of myself, and because I get bored and stuff like that, and I want something, and I want shit to change and all that. So it's very impulsive, and I'll come unstuck one day. Do watch, so that car. So that car, I reckon, I've always wanted to do a giveaway on the channel and build a car and do it like everyone does giveaways, and it's all a bit much at the moment, I guess, and people are probably getting sick of it. But I'm probably going to. I think I might.
You're not. I'm not.
That's right. He's like fucking won. So of course he's not getting sick of it. The people that win them, and you got to be in it to win it, I guess. But I had other plans to give it for another car, but that sort of fell through. So
should get another Hilux.
Well, I thought about that because that'd be under 5 grand, and I wouldn't have to get the license for it. But I love that car too much, so I'm not going to give that away.
Should have raffled off Loretta. Because it was under 5 grand.
Yeah, I should have actually. That could have been good, but
that's like even like Jay Duke in South Australia. He's doing that. 5 grand cars, put some wheels, chop the springs, and raffle them off.
Well, that's it. And they're pretty cool cars, and he does some pretty wild shit. So I actually haven't met Jay yet, and he did comment on my Woodside event that he might be bringing the bus, which would be unreal. We'll see that.
Oh, is that the one with the rotary?
That's the
rotary
one.
bus, yeah.
So there's a couple of Prostreeters as
Yeah,
well.
so
Yeah.
if for people that are probably watching, but they know the car but don't know who we're talking about, he's the same bloke that's put a 4-rotor in a 4 or 3-rotor in the Val.
I don't know.
It's
But
got a rotary.
And he just went over and did Mad Mike stuff over in NZ and stuff as well. Like he's built some wild stuff. And but yeah, anyway, so I might tidy that thing up, and I want to race it and build it and see what times we can run in it, and do some normal track stuff in it, roll racing, and see if anyone wants it.
With all these cars, you're lucky enough to have a factory where you do a bit of your recording for your YouTube and all that. And you actually, I believe, you turn in the front into like a little cafe.
Hopefully,
area.
yeah. So we've got sort of approvals and stuff like that. So I have a warehouse in Welland, and I have events there as well. So I've got a big cyclorama wall, which is like the social media sort of influencer space is what they call them.
Been on a turntable?
No, it's not a turntable.
It's got the white walls.
It's just a white wall, so it's like a photo booth wall. So like there's all these like content studios is what they call them. And so I've got one of those, and I sort of haven't really had time to sort of actually make it a proper content space. Not that I really wanted sort of the social media sort of side through there, but if I can make it a little bit better for the cars and sort out some lighting and stuff, it'll be a pretty cool spot. But like you said, I'm in the process of putting a little hole in the wall cafe from 6:30 till 12, Monday to Friday.
So like a tradie cafe?
Yeah, pretty much, because I'm in an industrial area, and then also somewhere where people can go and I can sell my merch if they want to go and buy it, just without sort of buying it online, or and potentially have somewhere where you can hang out. Eventually, we'll build on it, and then we'll have like potentially a feature car in there for like once or twice a month. You have a different car in there. People come in, take a photo, hang out, have Wi-Fi, just chill out, have a pretty cool spot to hang out, see some cool cars, have a coffee, have a feed.
Yeah, it's like even on your YouTube, one of your latest videos, you did. I think it was a Christmas edition one where you had like the cars roll in.
Yeah, well, I do events there. It's called the Cars and Creators events that I do. So I invite a bunch of car creators like yourself to come down. We give them a vest. And I organise some pretty high-end sort of cars, if they're hot rods or Prostreet cars
muscle,
or anything. And so we had like Peter Brock's Bathurst winning Tirana. Our mate has that, and so we brought that down.
That's sick.
And we rolled that in the wall, and then these guys get first hand, and then they post and they collab with me, and and then people show up. And like they fill the whole street.
What an idea!
And
that's sick.
It's really cool. Like
we really need to get over there. I think
the events really get quite big. So that's why we're sort of moving to. I want to have that's why I'm going to the cafe. I want to build like on a bigger scale somewhere where we can do this and host like a lot of people and just have a venue that's open on the weekend, regardless of it's just come up. Basically like a winery sort of thing for cars, and then have a storage set up so if people want to store their cars there, they can.
That's sick.
And restaurant that just sort of pumps, and people can come up and have a little E85 fuel bowser out the front.
That's what we would dream.
Yeah, I know.
Is it easy to get E85 where you are?
Yeah, there's a few stations around the corner. I'm reckon I'm going to get some by the barrel. I don't know who by, but I'd love to get some and just
Cheetah,
split them up.
ETS, VP. There's a few brands you can probably reach out to.
I'd love to just get one up at the house, and because I'm basically once the cars are ready, they'll be stored at my house shed, and then if I don't have to go back down to go to the track where they're at. I think it's like $3 a litre or $2 something a litre, or probably actually even more. And where the stuff I bought in Rocky, because they ran out at the servos, 2 servos in Rocky, there was none. So I bought some off. Who was it? Good bunch of lads. I bought it, and the car ran a lot cooler just on the better stuff.
Because it's actual E85.
It's actually proper E85, as you know, out of the pump. Still does the job, of course, for street riding. But so to have
like the ethanol content reading,
is probably only 60 to 75%, where you can get proper with the good sedatives and stuff that's actually going to help your engine.
So I've got 3 important questions for you.
Yep.
One is about the Monaro, and we actually forgot to touch on before we wrap it up. How did you get onto Adam, MPW? How did that all come about?
Drag challenge. I met him through Frank, and then through Jace from Tough Mounts, because he's had a really good relationship with him as well. So got on Adam through that, and Adam, he was like the last time I ran at the Bend, Adam was there with the silver and orange HQ. That's an SA car. And
that's got a dandy engine in it, I believe.
I forget what. Yeah, I think so.
It's the coupe, yeah.
Yeah, it's the coupe, orange one, Adelaide, silver and orange. Sorry. And he basically went to Sydney, rolled it off the trailer, and ran like a 7.0, and and at 190 mile an hour or something like that.
190 mile an hour.
Yeah, the boys from Admo Fab did all the
fab work on
that as well. So that was in there when I remember I took my car there one time, and that was in there, and I was like, and the turbo's in the rear, so like the engine just is sitting there by itself, and
just
you're
by
like
Bluetooth.
Yeah, it looks like it's beautiful. The boys do an unbelievable job. And
well, that's even like Drury's engineering the crusty Tirana. You'd probably know what car
exactly.
That is.
Same
look
thing.
at that; it's just like it's Bluetooth in
Yeah,
there.
where the hell are they?
6 second
6 second street car.
Actual street car.
Yeah.
Actual street car.
And no, but that, and like he was there doing that car, and he just sort of parked up next to us, and I asked him, I said, hey man, can you have a look at this? I'm like, we've sort of got back pressure issues, and then he's like, yeah, no worries, plug the computer in. He goes, this, added this, and then we left, and he was built like, because we're leaving at 4 pound a boost at like barely any RPM, and then he bumped it up to like, we went 10, 12, and then all the way up to 16, and then we was like, he said, things doing what it's supposed to be doing, let's put some boost in it, and you'll run your 8 straight away. And then we ran out of time because they got a 10 o'clock curfew there.
That's the same with Heathcote now.
Yeah,
Heathcote's got the same thing, 10 p.m. curfew.
That's such bullshit.
Some
like,
have a listen to this.
But like, listen to this. Like the Bend, like I love the
Bend's
Bend.
in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's a racetrack, and they're doing it for the caravan park. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You come to a racetrack in a caravan park, you better be a racer, because you're going to hear cars till like 12 o'clock.
Exactly.
You know, that should be it.
With Heathcote, they actually remember it was Ford Nationals testing tune went to like 1 o'clock in the morning one night, and it was an amazing night. But I think that's what kind of pissed a few people off. But then what I've heard, apparently now there's a rental apparently down towards the end of the track, and the lady's moved in there, and she's just always complaining. She's moved next to the racetrack.
You move next to a racetrack, and you get what you get.
It's like, you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some big news to come out about that racetrack, which hopefully will be dropping soon on this very
hopefully on this podcast.
Bullshit.
So we're in talks with a specific engine builder down in Victoria.
Yeah.
We've actually mentioned him quite a few times, but...
we're not going to name names just yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone knows. But
I'm sure you'll know.
Well,
you almost drove his car.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, because I've heard the same sort of thing, that the track is coming back, which is going to be awesome.
Now, the other two questions I ask on every podcast, I don't know if you know what I'm going to hit you with. If you had the choice between an R32 GTR or an R33 GTR, which one would it be?
32.
Thank you very much. And the next question is, Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian?
It's Kim K, probably.
Hands down. Thank you.
And that's,
thank you.
well, the contrast is, the backstory is Kim K looks like a 32, whereas Paris Hilton, he reckons, looks like a cardboard box, and it's like a 33 GTR.
Yeah. 33s are just shit. They look like a boat.
Well, there you go. I've never been asked those questions before.
My engine builder had one at the front of his factory, and he asked me, he goes, what are you always bagging for? I said, because they look like boats. He goes, I just bought that one. I said, when I rocked up there, I thought I was rocking up at JV Marine to buy a boat, mate. I didn't know I was coming to the engine builder. But,
shit.
Anyway, so for the future, Charlie, where can we see you? Future plans on the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Cars?
Well,
anything?
basically,
Creators,
just trying to do as much as I can. I want to get some Kenda coming up in Adelaide 660, so that'll be not next week, the weekend after, and try to get to as many things as I can. I'm hoping to have a couple of my own race days at the band, and just doing as much as I can.
Roll racing Adelaide.
Racing, do whatever I can. I think I'm done with most of the travelling. I've done, probably. close to 10,000 Ks by the end of this trip. So,
and of course in the trusty F-150,
thanks to Mount Barker Ford. But so it's just.
I need a car as well, Mount Barker Ford, if you want.
But I'm just going to be trying to build some cars and have some fun and showcase it. I'll be doing some stuff around the house as well. I've got some turf and that coming in, so I'll be doing a bit of everything really. But most of the stuff we'll be doing some cars.
We'll have to keep an eye on the socials and everyone following and keep an eye on it.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Keep up to date with the YouTube as well. It's 13,000 subs now. That's
so it's slowly getting there. It is just a fickle business where you got to be consistent in posting and I'm trying to do it more authentic and just me in the vlogs and stuff. I like doing that stuff where I like, of course, like the events are great and stuff like that, but I love just driving and I love sort of making these cars and racing them. So
100%. Well, man, we can't wait. Hopefully, me and Anth will come down for a Prostreet Talk trip. Tow down his VL. Maybe after he comes back from Cape York or something.
That's the plan. He might come up for roll racing, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Not game enough to get
hopefully I'll have a couple of cars and throw you guys in some cars and.
It'd be a trip even if I brought down the BF and then you brought down the Val far out, made for a crazy weekend. Yeah, so.
Well, reliable cars, but. So.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with Barra? His has gone pretty well. Shit, can't mine. I mean, mine's had a hole in the side of the block for 8,000 Ks and it's still going.
My valve's not started yet. I'll just shut the fuck up. Yeah. No, well, honestly, man, thanks for coming out. Obviously, in your tight schedule this week, and obviously we had to fuck up with the camera yesterday. And thanks for coming out the second time.
No stress.
Well, I hope to see our Motorex today. I'll bump into you and maybe take some snaps of the HX, so that'll be great. So, thank you.
Make sure to go Drivin with Dixon. That's close. Easy. And Charlie Dixon on Instagram and Drivin with Dixon on Instagram as well.
All that.
And the YouTube too. So.
All YouTube.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Done.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you for listening.
No worries.